You're listening to the Black Eagles podcast with Sinan Schwarting and Kaan Bayazit.
Ahmet Dursun Sergen aldı. Sergen Bülent yan yana. Sergen Bülent. Sergen. Yanında Tümer var. Tümer'e doğru atışını kaybetti. Tümer topu aldı. Sergen aldı. Gol! Gol! Gol! Sergen attı. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi. Sergen attı. Şampiyonluk geldi.
İbrahim'in pası. Roma. Şimdi Ahmet. İkinci gole gidiyor Beşiktaş. Ahmet.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Black Eagles podcast. Guys, does one of you have the stream up or something? Because I'm hearing double noise.
I don't.
Oh, I know what it is. I actually have it open in YouTube. I hope everyone's doing okay, guys. We're back with another episode of the Black Eagles podcast, and of course, we are here to talk about historic victory over one of our biggest rivals, over Galatasaray, in the Turkish Super Cup. We already did a reaction video a couple of right after. Maybe you watched that already, but probably you may not have. Hopefully you're watching this. Hopefully you're joining us in the chat to celebrate with us another momentous occasion. Ever since we've gone to video, we've had two such moments already. And as you can see on the side of my head there, we have Ciro Immobile kissing the cup, the Super Cup. I'm going to introduce my co-hosts first, though. First, joining me from New York City, New York, is Mr. Sinan Schwarting. Sinan, how have you been experiencing the last couple of days with the Super Cup in our trophy cabinet?
Our beloved Black Eagles kicking off things quite well, huh? I don't think we're gonna... It's funny how I went from being oh, it's okay if we lose, it's just a glorified friendly, to being thrilled for about a week, but yeah. It's not going away yet, folks. Still hype.
By the way, guys, let us know in the chat if you're hearing double sound again when they're talking, because that's...
I'm on mute.
Yeah, you were, actually, and I just took you off. So
no!
So I don't think we will have double sound, fortunately. But yeah, so maybe repeat what you were saying, Sinan, because you were muted for a brief while there.
Oh, sorry. Timeout. Kai, can you get that? Thanks. Oh, I'm sorry about that. We have a little lunch for the kid arriving just now.
Oh, no.
So yeah, what I said was that it's. I went from telling myself that this is just a glorified friendly, so don't worry too much if we lose, to being thrilled for about a solid week plus because of the results. So it's pretty clear that I was just talking myself down with that initial logic, it's just feeling great right now. I think it's hard as a Beşiktaş fan not to be excited. I joked in the group chat that I went from being I'm kind of excited about this season to feeling like a kid who's waiting for Christmas or his birthday, the week before. It's been a good week.
It's a strange thing for us, right, to have hope again after last season.
Exactly.
And even the season before to an extent. Kartal, how did you experience the last couple of days with that new cup in our cabinet? And look at that beautiful background he has there, folks.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they saw a live reaction on Saturday evening. We were all buzzing, still buzzing about it. I mean, the timeline's still full of just talking about the 5-0 victory. I mean, it's just one of those great moments. Not often you beat your rivals 5-0. In fact, I think in my 26 years on this planet, that's the biggest derby win we've had. Obviously, we've had some 3-0s and stuff like that, but it's the first time I can remember a 5-0. It's phenomenal. I mean, talk about starting off the season on a high note, and hopefully we can turn that into a kind of just give us that bit of confidence boost to push us on and Hopefully we can go on and have a great season. Was it continues you start, they say, isn't it? That's a phrase, I'm pretty sure, and hopefully we're able to do that. It was just a phenomenal game. I mean, we did speak about it a lot on the live reaction on Saturday. I was a bit annoyed, man, because I felt like I was making great points on Saturday, but we had some technical issues, so our lovely viewers couldn't hear what I was saying. But thankfully we can talk about it again today, and I'm sure I'll be able to make all those points again.
Yeah, guys, let us know as well in the comments. I did tweak some stuff. So initially I went down from 1080p to 720p and from 60 FPS to 30 FPS, but Katla convinced me to just do the FPS change. So if we start lagging, if we start stuttering, let us know. And then hopefully the stream won't cut off again, because I think the last 2 episodes like just cut off and never fully never fully got restored on YouTube. So I honestly don't know what the problem was. So I'm just kind of taking a stab at the dark here, trying to figure out what's going on. One of the things you said, Sian, is the glorified friendly. You know, I think in most countries, the Super Cup is kind of seen a little bit as that. Yes, it's one of the 3 major trophies you can win in a national environment, in a domestic environment, but it's always kind of seen as, yeah, it's the first game to the new season in most circumstances, so most people see it as a final preseason match almost that doesn't, I mean, let's be honest, the Super Cup is a trophy that, you know, it goes into your trophy cabinet, but it doesn't give you European football or anything like that. It gives you a little bit of extra money, but nothing significant. So yeah, in that regard, the Super Cup isn't massively important. And I think if you lose a game like that and you lose 1-0, 2-0, look, in the Netherlands just now, there was a fantastic Super Cup. They call it the Johan Cruijffschaal. It ended in 4-4, and then it went straight to penalties. It was a thrilling game. Feyenoord ended up winning it on penalties. I don't think PSV will be too hungover about it. It's a shame not to be able to win it. It's an extra prize you can add to your collection. But at the end of the day, it's not like losing the league. It's not like losing a cup, even a cup final, because a cup final I think is more significant. But I think if we would have lost this game, and we would have lost 2-1, 1-0, whatever, I guess we would kind of just brush it off as such, as it's just a preseason friendly almost. And I think that's what Galatasaray would be doing right now. And I say would because I don't think you can brush off a 5-0. I mean, if you're keeping in a little bit of tabs on social media right now, they're going absolutely insane. Like, absolute chaos. They're calling for heads. Okan Buruk has been thrown under the bus completely by their fans. Kerem Aktürkoğlu has been scapegoated. Like, they're ready to light their stadium on fire. So I don't think that most Galatasaray fans see this as just a preseason friendly. The match itself maybe, but just because of the magnitude of the result and all that, I think it's a massive blow to them. How do you feel about that?
I think that for exactly the same reasons that I'm like unreasonably excited, right, for this whole, what is it? It's been, how many days has it been since? But yeah, it's exactly that on the flip side for Galatasaray, right? That's probably why they're in full panic mode, because that was a huge loss that I think spells not just, oh, you know, like Beşiktaş is looking pretty good this year, but like they have some issues that they genuinely need to resolve, or they're going to be, you know, it's going to be a bit of a letdown for them, I would imagine.
Yeah, for sure. You still there, Sinan?
Yeah, sorry. I'm seeing the big Skype logo, but maybe that's just in Skype, hopefully.
No, I'm seeing it too. I don't know why it's doing that again.
Hopefully it's just in Skype, because I'm not seeing it on the YouTube channel.
Can't see if that fixes it.
Sorry?
Yeah, that's it.
What?
Oh, but now it says, there we go. So you've changed the screen, so for some reason, it's just Sinan's showing up as a Skype logo.
Yeah, it's not anymore now, but you are now, I think.
All right,
now I am. Yeah, you were the Skype logo before, but on the it's who knows? I don't know what that is all about. And it's weird because it just started up randomly.
Yeah, it just starts randomly, exactly. Let's see. Wait, maybe it's this. Wait, let's see. That's the issue. I don't know. I don't know why it keeps doing that. It's so annoying. Katha, let's get your thoughts on it. Just keep rolling with the punches,
Talk
guys.
through it. Yeah, talk through it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a pre-season friendly. I think, see, maybe if you're playing like Antalyaspor or like we did in 2021, or if you're playing like, I don't know, like just an Anadolu team, and fair enough. But I think, see, when it's a derby, when it's Beşiktash, Galatasaray, Beşiktash, Fenerbahçe, Galatasaray, Fenerbahçe, whatever. I don't think it's seen as a derby as a friendly by either side at that point. I think it is seen as a serious match because not only is a trophy on the line, that does go towards the official trophy count in Turkey. At the same time, it's a great chance for bragging rights for like the city, you know, because like, I mean, like for just now, all our fans are really excited. I mean, I think see, even if we beat them 2-1, I think our fans still would have been really excited. Obviously, the fact that it was 5-0 is kind of taking it to a whole other level, and the fact that we've been going on about it for days. Like, it's been 4 days since the game, and everyone's still talking about it. So, I mean, I think it is an important game, and I think like I've not been buzzing since. I suppose I was going to say I've not been buzzing for about a game in a while, but to be fair, I was the cup final. I was probably just as buzzing about that, to be honest, because as much as this is a more impressive score, that game was a lot more important because it had European football depending on it. So I think I was equally buzzed about both games, but no, this was a great game. I don't think it's one any of us will ever forget. I think in 20 years' time we'll probably be saying to each other, I remember that time Giovanni van Bronckhorst absolutely outclassed Okan Buruk tactically, and we absolutely spanked Galatasaray 5-0. We'll be saying. Yeah. That's right, man. Yeah. Yeah. Olista had a really
The volley, yeah, exactly. That was.
good. Gabriel had an amazing chance as well. Basically, he went for the volley, he miskicked it, and it hit off his kind of balance foot.
Hey, Khan, now we're hearing there's no sound for you. Yeah, hopefully it's.
Yeah.
Just,
Oh yeah. I didn't mute myself. Jesus Christ. Oh, but hey, other positive.
How'd you fix this, by the way, Khan? Since we've like broken the fourth wall.
Yeah, I think.
How'd you do it?
I think I figured it out. So my Skype call needs to be active on our call, and I was getting some sort of Binance spammer that I went to block, and that fucked it. So now I went back to the call. I think it fixed it now. So knock on wood. Hopefully we figured that out. And knock on wood, the change in FPS will have changed all the other problems. So hopefully, but knowing us, this won't be the last time we have technical difficulties. But hopefully, knock on freaking wood, man.
While we're off topic, I should just note. So I mentioned that I got food and and everything. So we got Thai food actually.
Yeah.
And the Thai iced tea was knocked over. And so while you were dealing with all that technical stuff, I was like on my hands and knees frantically wiping the floor. There was like bright orange splotches all over. So it's just been chaos on the back end, folks. What you don't see is for your benefit.
But you know what? You know what? I got an idea, guys. So we got this really exciting contest we did, right? Like we got this amazing giveaway thanks to kartaljuvasi.eu. And should we just kick it off and start announcing the winners? Like I've got this, I haven't told you guys anything yet, but I've got these big ass names in the middle of your screen, and you're all gonna get to announce one. So do you want to announce somebody? Who wants to go first? Are you okay with announcing the winners?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
All right, so we're going to announce the winners to our shirt giveaway for the new season. So whoever wins, 3 people, I've drawn them randomly with what's it called? I don't know, some sort of website that randomly selected YouTube comments.
We should totally, like, we have to be on the record. This was completely random.
Yeah.
There's one. Some people might recognize one of the names and think that's so shady, but like we swear this is random. I guess can I announce that guy? Since he's been in such a rut for so many years.
Yeah.
This was a nice welcome surprise.
Yeah. So it was indeed. Well, I don't even remember the website I used. It was something. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, I'll let you announce yours first, Sinan. So I'll. Oh shit! Wait. No. I'm using the studio. So, just give me a second. Yeah. Okay. So are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Do I have his?
This is the first winner. I'll put him up on the screen in 3, 2, 1. That's the first winner.
Okay, so number 1 is RQ7284. Am I allowed to say that, like, more about this fella?
Sure. I mean, I think it's him. I'm not 100% sure. Is it?
I'm fairly certain because I mean, how many Evrans with the Quaresma fascination are there in the world? So I think this is our my former co-host, I should say. He was filling in for Khan for a long stretch. Evran, who if we were like good friends, we would have rigged it for him anyway because he's been like injured and like had his like dreams fall through and everything as a footballer. But we were not good friends at all. It was, I swear, fully random. But he won anyway. And in a way, I'm glad because of all the aforementioned trouble the poor guy's gone through. But so, yeah, Evron, step right up, sir. You have a free jersey coming your way.
Yeah.
Who's next?
You have to pay shipping, though.
Yeah, sorry, kiddo. You gotta do that.
Let's see. Let's Kartal, you can announce the winner of yours. So I'm gonna pop the name up on the screen in about 3 seconds. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Bam! Read it out loud, bro.
Congratulations to Finish Kebab. If you just reach out to us, we'll be able to, so you'll get your code, and you'll be able to get your shirt. As the boys mentioned, you will need to pay for shipping, but congratulations to Finish Kebab. You've got a free shirt coming your way.
Yeah.
Bar shipping.
Congratulations.
I've seen this guy around too, I feel like. Maybe on Twitter or something. I recognize the name.
I know, man.
It's good to see loyal listeners and whatnot getting rewarded.
We used to be on a forum together. Do you remember, Sinan? There was this Galatasaray fan called Finn Aslan. So
I remember that.
So
yeah.
This guy, Finish Kebab, he comments a lot on the video. So whenever I see his name, I'm like, I think of the Galatasaray fan, and that's not a very positive association. Sorry, but obviously no. Finish Kebab, thank you and congratulations. Thank you for being a loyal listener. Congratulations with your shirt. Like Gatal said, just reach out to us. Maybe the easiest way is probably just reach out to me on Twitter. So at Rosarian. And then then we'll sort stuff out. I am not sure if Finland is in the European Union or not. So if they're, I don't think they are actually. So the shipping to Finland might still be closed right now. So you might have to wait a little bit before you can order your shirt. But I'm sure we'll sort it out. If worst comes to worst, I'll ship it myself. But yeah, let's just reach out to me, okay? So just send me a message. And then finally, the last winner of our contest is Talha Budai 7994. So congratulations, Talha Budai, for winning your shirt again. Just reach out to me, find me on Twitter or something, and we'll sort you out. Congratulations to all our winners. So Talha, Finnish Kebab, and RQ784. Congratulations on winning your brand new shirt. And yeah, again, reach out to me on Twitter and I'll get you guys sorted. Maybe in, depending on where you're from, if you're in the European Union or not, the shipping might still be closed for a while, so might take a little bit, but we'll sort it out. Don't worry.
Finland just joined NATO, I think, right? That was a big news thing. So
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know what that says about their EU.
Well, you know, I'll
citizenship,
quickly
but-
Google it because I have absolutely no clue. Are Finland?
I've been there,
part
but it was
of
like-
the European Union.
I don't think.
The
They were
EU
part of-
countries are Australia. Oh yeah, Finland is EU, so I guess
Hey,
that.
hey,
I guess then
there
the
you
shipping
go.
should be fine. So yeah, should be good. Well, we'll find out sooner or later anyway. All right, let's continue on the.
These guys are probably torturing us for not knowing this. Yeah, if someone's like Finland in the EU, you dumbasses.
So guys, I mean, just to because we're talking obviously about the Super Cup, I did want to like do a little bit of shenanigans again and have a look at.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Copyright con strikes again.
I did want to have a little bit of a look at some of the highlights of the game, and I'll fast forward to some of them. So this is just a live feed from Beşiktaş YouTube. So hopefully we won't get flagged. It is copyrighted by ATV, I guess, but like I'm freaking using the Beşiktaş YouTube here. So let me just get that.
While you're sorting it out, let me take this moment to remind our listeners to, as it says right over there, like, comment, and subscribe, please, folks. And for those of you in the group chat right now, which we've got an active one, good to see you all. We'll be addressing your comments shortly.
All right, so let's have a look here at the start of the game. The referee kicked it off, and it just took 22 seconds. You even make a little cut there, but see this here. I mean, fantastic finish by Immobile, right, guys? Like 22 seconds, and some people will say, yeah, okay, they got gifted the goal, and Nelson made a big mistake, but still, Immobile is there. He's ready to pounce. The way he takes the ball, goes one-on-one with Muslera. Like, how many times have we seen in the Turkish League that, Muslera is such an imposing figure. 13 years at Galatasaray, the best goalkeeper, in my opinion, in Super League history. Like, he has this aura about him, and a lot of strikers, like, they flinch when they come one-on-one with him, but not...
Because we were watching the start on A-Sport, and then all of a sudden, it went into commercial, and we realized we have to swap to ATV instead. Well, first of all, thank you, Umer Gunal, because I was under the impression I was just a complete fake Turk in my lack of
You thought you were the
Turkishness.
only one, right?
I thought I was the only idiot that did that. Not that you're an idiot, Umer.
No,
I'm
you
the
definitely
idiot, but-
weren't. I mean, I sent you that video after of the two Galatasaray fans who did the same thing.
They did
right?
the same.
They switched,
Which
and they were
would have been so much worse.
It's already 1-0. What happened? Yeah.
It's so much worse on the other side.
Oh, yeah,
yeah,
for
when
sure.
you find out, oh my God, we're freaking losing already.
I mean, I
Like,
don't
what the
know.
hell is
Actually,
that?
is it worse? Like, I actually missed the goal too because I was still eating. We ordered dinner, and it came a little late, and I was like scrounging it down just to not miss the game. And suddenly my phone, like, I had the game on my PC, and I was sitting at the dinner table, and suddenly my phone buzzed, and I'm like, oh my God, no, they fucking scored already. And I took it, and it was us who scored. I was like, oh my God, we scored.
Yeah. I mean, the reason it might compare to finding out you were scored against is just because it was freaking Ciro scoring his debut in the derby. Like, it's just the impact, the volume, the significance of that goal. That's what killed a little bit.
It also,
for sure.
for me, it's like, oh my God, I missed Ciro's first goal. I can't believe it. The way he celebrated as well, like,
he's been there before.
Everything, what I've seen from since his arrival, since the first moment that he arrived, we live commented it. Me and Kartal, and then you joined later as well, Sina. Like, we were commenting live on his arrival, and just everything just oozed that he was so revved up and so motivated and wanted to be there. And I just like that goal as well, the way he celebrates. I don't think there's a better possible welcome for a player. Like at such a stage, 76,000 fans, a derby match against your fiercest rival, or one of your two most fiercest rival. I'll leave it up in the air. I think it's a little bit personal for everyone who they dislike most. But yeah, and then to do it like that, man, like 22 seconds in, and just announce your arrival that way. And if it wasn't for this man who's on the screen right now, a certain Rafa Silva, I would say maybe the best debut ever. Like if you remember, like some years back, Dembaba had that hat trick against Feyenoord, and I think that was his debut in terms of start. I think he had come on the week before against Feyenoord as a sub in the second half. I'm not 100% sure, so I don't think. Yeah, go ahead, Scato. What?
I'm just saying. I'm just agreeing with you. I think he start that. I'll come on later on.
But even if we count that game with the hat-trick as his debut, I would still argue that this man, Rafa Silva, probably the most impressive debut of a player I've ever seen for Beşiktaş, especially given the circumstances of it being a big derby, of it, just being such a momentous occasion, 76,000 people. And, watching the game live, there were moments where I thought to myself, oh yeah, he's playing a good game. But until he scored, I was like, Immobile is the headline of this game. But then this guy in like the 90th minute scores, and then 90 plus 4 he gives another assist. And then I didn't realize it, but on the Svensson goal, like, I don't know if it's sort of deflection or not. Like, it looked like a freaking assist from him as well there. Like, we'll look at it in a second, actually.
Just to confirm, I did say that I believe that was true, but yeah, that's right. Ba did sub on in the second half against Feyenoord away. Yeah. In the game we won, but so it was his first start in the home game. That's good.
Khan, maybe we can sort of postpone this till after we go through all the highlights and all that, but we should probably do. I mean, if we want to have a debate, we could talk about whether it should have been Immobile or Rafa Silva. To get man of the match. Yeah. And for just to throw a little some wood onto the fire. Oh, you probably can't see that, huh? Rafa Silva by FOTMob was given a 9.2 man of the match.
Yeah, and
whereas Ciro was given a 9.1.
Yeah.
So it was very.
Yeah.
It's definitely a fun debate because nobody's a loser.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter what side you take.
Well, let's have a look. I don't remember what this was going on here.
This is the first half.
Yeah, this is the first half. Yeah, so this is I mean, this is a moment, like, this is a typical Jetson moment, right? So here he has it, and then he could either give it to the left here, where Simi, I think, is it Simi or is it Ciro? I don't really see. I think it's Simi. So Simi here, one-on-one, 100%, like he has a lot of room. And then he makes a decision for Rafa, which is fine, because Rafa is making a really good run in behind. But then the pass, man, like, if this pass is better, that's a goal, man. Like, if this is
100%.
Yeah, if that pass is hit properly, and it wasn't even such a difficult pass to play, honestly. And that, I think, the kind of that just tells you everything about Jetson, right? And like this first half, I want to say, like, I think that was one of the worst halves I've seen Jetson play, probably. But then in the second half, I thought he played really, really well. And this is the one thing. If Jetson could have that, like, if this pass would have been better, and if these moments happen a lot for him, if this moment is better for him, he would be such a top player, man. Like, if this is a proper pass, like, look at that intelligent run by Rafa, and like,
if it stops right there, or if it's a short pass and it's kind of, it kind of lays off the pace right about there, so we can get on the end of it.
But also worth mentioning though, like, what are the Galatasaray defenders doing? Like, just look, like,
yeah, they were so bad.
I mean, like, I don't know what they were doing, man. Like, let's see, have a look. So look at those two guys. Look at them. They're both three people. No. The guy that's following Jetson looks to be, he sees Rafa. The other two, I don't know who they are. I think that's Nelson and is it Abdul Karim?
Yeah, Nelson's the man
I'm
who's
not
in the
sure.
back, who's basically keeping everyone on side,
but-
guaranteed to keep everyone on side.
Let's see. Look at them. Look
I'd
at
like
both
to
of
say-
them. Both of them are closing down
I know,
Jetson, and Rafa is just getting in behind there, and they're like completely oblivious.
I want to go on the record. I mean, I shouldn't even say that. I am on the record because we do this freaking podcast. We've been doing it for so long. But I've been a Nelson hater for a long time, and I think as fans we have a tendency to like assume that our rivals have like done a good job because they're like winning, or we kind of I think we buy into the hype that they spend so much time hyping their guys with. But dude, Nelson, he ain't it, man. Like I remember hearing that. What was it? Who was supposedly coming in for him last year? And they like turned down supposedly a big offer. And I thought that if that's true, which it probably wasn't, and it was part of this hype train that they do. But if it were true, it would have been so stupid to turn down an offer for him because Nelson doesn't make me jealous.
By the way, guys,
put it that way.
let us know if we get copyright struck and if the streak goes offline, because I am kind of darting the line here a little bit, as I do. All right, so that's that chance.
By the way,
what's
RQ7.
Yeah.
RQ7 has weighed in excitedly. He's happy. It seems like he's gonna get this free shirt. And Finnish Kebab has stepped in to claim his. Thank you very much for the shirt, guys. And yes, same account on Twitter too. So yeah, that's the guy who I've.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've interacted with you.
Awesome.
It's good. It's nice to be a part of this community, folks. Anyway, keep it going.
Well, congratulations. Oh, by the way, guys, if you're not yet part of the community, so to speak, in our in the show notes, there's a WhatsApp link. I believe there's a WhatsApp link there where you can join our WhatsApp community and you can just come chat with us every day. Like loads of people that are in the chat right now in the live chat are on there. Omer is on there. I think Jason is on there. Yeah, I don't know who else is in the live chat right now, but like usually the usual suspects that are active in the live chat are all on our WhatsApp community as well. And it hasn't been around so long, but I really feel like a lot of those people, like I'm, talking to them every day already, and I think it's a great place to be with like-minded Beşiktaş fans, not the usual, not some of the mouth breathers we come across on Twitter. All like-minded people, as you would come to expect. I mean, if you watch this podcast, you're probably somewhat on the same page as us, so we're gonna have similar ideas.
Unless you're just like a rage watcher, you just watch to get mad at our take.
I think we have Orhan, right, who watches regularly, and he doesn't always agree with us for sure, but he still watches, so appreciate him too.
He doesn't agree with Cena.
Yeah, he doesn't agree with Cena. All right, what?
I think we've come to terms. I think we've gotten to peace though. I think we're on the same side now.
What position is this, guys? This is another corner, I think. Right, let's have a look.
Köşe vuruşu kullanıldı. Bu kez Abdülkerim vurdu kafayı uzaklardan bir şut, savunmadan döndü top. Oynalarının dışına doğru gidiyor.
Anything happen here?
It's hard to even really know why that made it to the highlight reel. Maybe this is it. Here we go.
But you see, that is, I think, a prime example of why we smothered them. The press. So like here they essentially declare the corner, no big deal, and then immediately we're on them again. Look at that. Look, like we're just like on them so quickly. The entire first half, like they just couldn't, and the entire game, I should say, like they just couldn't stop him. Like every time he got the ball, look ball. They don't dare to do anything. Look, here he gets it.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
That's it back.
Con, maybe are you having internet?
No, yeah, my internet went out for a second there. Sorry. Yeah, I'm back now. Though. All right. So I'm really sorry about that. So my screen is still on the frame, just as Paulista is about to connect with the ball here. Yeah. So you were explaining something, Cathal?
Yeah, if you watch it carefully, he tries to hit it, but see the foot that he miskicks it. So he misses it with the foot he's trying to do the volley with. But see his foot he's balancing on, just kind of off there and goes out.
Yeah.
If he gets that proper connection, I think that's another 100% chance like the Immobile. I think this is an easier chance than the Immobile one.
Oh yeah,
'Cause there's no.
definitely. All he has to do here is just somewhat hit it properly, and it's going towards goal regardless. Like Immobile's chance was harder, the ball came a little bit to the back and all that. It's like, but this is definitely like, look, I'll press play here, and then, oh wait, this is the wrong screen I'm on. Wait, un momento.
So just that. Just there, man. If like Paulista gets a decent connection, it's definitely a goal, man. But instead, it just kind of goes out. I mean, I think that's Colley challenging at the back post, but I think he kind of hits it back, and yeah.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Paulista gets a decent connection on that. That's a goal every day of the week, man. And we're already, because at that point it was only 1-0, 2-0, and if Immobile scored his chance, it could have been 3. So
yeah. These are both, I mean, I think they're not easy, like especially the Immobile one is not an easy chance, but it's definitely, I mean, look, that was a perfect cross. If he connects with that properly, then that's probably a goal or a world-class save. I think this maybe, I think this was a little, I would imagine if he connects with this properly, it probably goes straight to the goalkeeper. That's what I'm thinking, because he's a defender, and you know, whatever.
Still a great chance, but
for sure. And here again, look, guys, look. Now see our press. Need to keep an eye on our pressing game.
Rafa Silva, Jason Fernandes, bomboş kaldı orada. Raşitsa orta şansı yerden.
No, this is not a press. This is just, that's an amazing look. I mean, look. Have a look here. This looks like a fucking assist to me, man. Like,
man, it does deflect. I've looked at it closely, bro, several times. It does deflect.
Does it deflect? Okay.
It does, man. It does. Like, look, I'd want to give Rafa all the credit for it, which he still deserves a fair amount, but it does deflect. But
yeah.
I mean, it's good that it does, because it falls perfectly into Bastian Svensson, who I think that's a proper striker's finish. That's
I mean, look, that's the connection with the ball that Ciro and I mean, whether he, you know, he creates chaos. I think that's an important thing there. He forces that goal.
It's an easy clearance if he's not there.
Yeah, whether or not that's his assist or not. Like, I think that's, like, you know, sometimes they on for example transfer markets, when you win a penalty, they note it as an assist. I think this is an assist. You so force this goal. This goal is. Yeah. I'm not gonna say 90% Rafa, because it still requires a fantastic volley finish by Svensson. But I think you can at least say this is 50% Rafa's goal. Like, this is just.
You think about that chance you were highlighting earlier, Khan, which where Immobile got onto the, you know, where he chased it down on the side and then started the chance where then it ended up in the one where he sort of blasted it over. But again, right, it's another example of putting in 100% effort, even when it seems like it's whatever, it's just one of those dead balls. Yeah. Or in this case, it's like, oh, it's going to be a tough challenge. Let me just like let it bounce first. But no, right, like go in with 100% effort and see what you can make of it, and there you go, right?
He was also, I mean, this isn't in this video, but like Rafa was always the one. He was the first instigator of every press. Like, every time the ball went back to Muslera, Rafa was there. Didn't give them time. He didn't give them time on the ball.
Determined to create chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Like, Rafa was like the headline. Like, if you look at, for example, right now, guys, like if you are interested in getting any of these match-worn shirts from this game, if you go to matchwornshirts.com, Beşiktaş are actually selling the match-worn shirts of the match. And right now, last I checked, I'll open it on my phone, because I was following these, but they're already way above what I can afford. Let's see, match-worn shirts. So right now, the Ciro Immobile shirt is at 7,000 euros, and the Rafa one is only at 1,307. And actually, the Mustafa Hekimoglu one is at 1,252, which I understand, because look, if Mustafa Hekimoglu goes on and has a great career, whether it is for Beşiktaş or a European club or whatever, if he goes on and has a great career, like that goal that we're gonna get to in a little bit, that's gonna be the first. And if you get that shirt that he wore, I mean, you know, if he grows up to be like some sort of Turkish football legend, then that shirt's going to be worth a lot of money one day. But so in the minds of the people who are bidding on these shirts, like clearly people are putting more stock in Ciro's performance because he scores a brace. Spoiler alert. But Rafa, I mean, if I had that kind of money to spend on football shirts, I think I'd do the... I mean, I get it that people are going for Ciro shirts because I think that Ciro is a little bit more sexy, if that makes sense. But I think Rafa.
Well, it's also the debut. Oh, I guess the Rafa's too.
Both are the debuts. Both are the debuts.
I'll just to the casual fan, the guy that scored 2 goals.
Yeah,
is worth more than that.
But if you got 7,000 euros to spend on a shirt, I don't think you're a casual fan, though. Do you?
I was gonna say this might be bad news for you, Con. It seems like the market for your style of shirt purchases is on the rise.
I was, because Beşiktaş puts these shirts up on matchwornshirts.com straight away, right? And I was instantly checking if they were on, and they were coming soon. And I checked the day after, and they were on, and I was instantly favorited them. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on this. And like a smart person who bids on online auctions, you don't bid straight away. You gotta wait until the last minute, because otherwise all you're doing is driving up the price and you're just hurting yourself. So I was just waiting and seeing, and then as soon as Beşiktaş announced that they were selling them on matchwornshirts.com on Twitter, like the Ciro shirt went from 487 euros or something to like 1,300 straight away. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm not getting that.
Too rich for my blood.
That's exactly.
What's the cheapest shirt? Okay.
Huh?
What shirt is the cheapest one?
I mean, what shirt's the cheapest one?
Maybe a Jackson Muleka.
Let me check.
Someone who didn't feature.
Let me check. So right now the cheapest is, I mean, Jonas Svensson is 508. There's a couple of squad signed shirts which are all above 700. Jetson is 696. So Jetson's actually more right now than Svensson's shirt. Al-Musrati 624, Simi 645, Paulista 500, Rasichka 479. Masuaku 397, Najib 419, and he didn't even play, did he? No, it's just an issued signed shirt. It's only issued though. So
didn't he come in late as a sub? I can't even remember honestly.
So it was who came? Onana.
Yeah.
Sali
Uchan is 370.
Sali came on late.
Ernest Mucci is 368. He did not come on, so
he
that's
did not
only
feature.
issued and signed. Demir Ege 267 euros. Tayyip Talha 200 something. 200 and how is it? Yeah. So basically the guys who did not play. Oh, Omar Colley. He played the whole game. 242 euros. And Onana 241. Muleka 192. And Onur Bulut 216. I think Onur is the cheapest one from the players that actually played. Onur Bulut.
Con, this could be your only chance to get a match worn Jean Onana, right? If he gets loaned out or something.
Yeah.
You never know if he'll be back.
I don't know, man. I think it's a lot of, like, I think 200 something euros is a lot of, well, I mean, in today's world where the store shirts are 90
double. It's not even
it's 110 euros for a shirt with a name on it, so it's probably not that expensive actually if you think about it, especially if you think about the fact that that it was worn in a historic game. So
yeah, again, like you said, we're all gonna remember.
I might
gonna be my Twitter profile image for a good time.
Do you want a Jean Onana shirt? Like, I actually like Cody a lot, so maybe, you know, we'll see. Anyway, so that's the second goal. Oh, is that Muslera?
You know, my daughter plays defense, so she's like, "Who's our best defender this year?" I'm surprised I told her college, to be honest. I did. Now that I think about it, I mean, I guess he was right going into last season.
If you even look at this, like, Svensson hits it good, but it's still pretty straight at Muslera. So.
Yeah, it's just because he's off balance, right? That's what makes it kind of a clever finish, too.
like it's hard, all that. But, let's have a look. This is, I think this is the penalty. Yeah. So let's have another look at the start of that phase here. I mean,
oh yeah, Jedson did the deed.
Bij Amazon vind je
Oh.
producten.
we got some Amazon commercial.
No, don't advertise those bastards. Get that out of here.
And they can have it. They can have it.
Pesos.
prijzen.
Watch them
It's
get
Dutch
copyright
as
stricken
well.
because
It's
we're
in
helping
Dutch.
freaking Amazon.
I thought you had YouTube Premium.
I do, bro, but I think
Amazon.com.be.
you're not.
Nivea Man.
The way this works, like you're not logged in or anything. Like just the way
heb ik gedaan?
OBS does it.
Antivlekken, huid en zweetbescherming.
We should be getting paid for this, man. What is
Yeah.
this?
I mean, now they can't flag us, right? They're getting a commercial out of me.
So, yeah.
I think that's also one of the things that's going to play an important role in how many goals is Ciro gonna make this season. Is how many penalties are we gonna get? But then if I see how nervous Galatasaray were whenever Rafa came on the ball, I got a feeling that we
might get a few.
We might get a couple, because if Galatasaray's defenders are already if it's already squeaky bum time for the Galatasaray defenders, I mean, imagine what it's going to be for most underdog defenders. Like whenever Rafa comes on the ball, like, and the only way to stop him seems to be to follow him, really, because he's so quick. Like, you can lunge for the ball, but he's so quick that the chances of you getting the ball or the chances of you committing a fall are massive. And I think that's also why earlier when you were highlighting Kartal that he wanted to challenge but then changed his mind, I think it's a matter of that. Like, I could challenge for the ball here, but if I make a fall, I'm probably giving away a penalty or a really dangerous free kick, and yeah. It's a difficult decision.
He always doing that after every goal, by the way. Sorry.
See, just like for example, he's going down the middle, and then Abdul Karim kind of commits to the challenge, he slides in, and then Jetson kind of turns into the right, and because of that, that's why when he's coming down, he catches him in the leg and brings him down. So very, very smart from Jetson to actually win that penalty.
Yeah. So another look here. This is again. It starts with Rafa. It all starts with Rafa here. This is apparently, I didn't know, a pass by Sali. Where is he? Where's
Definitely an attempted shot. You can't
No. Look. Supposedly. No, that's a lobbed pass, man.
You think so? You think it was a terrible attempt at a shot?
No, I don't think so.
Who is that? Paulista?
One-on-one with Muslera, and
it reminds me of when I'm coaching my daughter's team in training. You know, like when we do like the scrimmage and they put me on one side, and I just do these little moves like that because the kids don't really know which direction the balls are going in. You know, they don't have the experience. But that's what it looked like, man. Yunus Akgün looked out of his depth. Ah, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I wanted to say earlier, because we got a little glimpse of it after the fourth, I think. But the way Gio is both like passionate and celebrating with the team, but also serious and composed and like getting them to get back in focus. Yeah. I have such a good feeling about this guy. And, you know, again, knock on wood, you know, it could all come undone on Sunday, but so far so good, man. Damn.
Let's just throw a little bit to our viewers. Actually, I don't know if we have an active chat right now.
Just
look.
One thing I wanted to say, Can mentioned that they didn't include any of the Galatasaray highlights. Well, to be honest, there was probably about 2 Galatasaray highlights all game anyway.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, other than their offside goals, there were 2. I think.
2 offside goals that were offside by about 5 meters.
By
great offside.
Not even close. Yeah.
Great offside trap by Gio. Obviously the defenders had to carry out, but it was taught to them by Gio. But who knows? It could be Van Gastel. I don't know. But they only had 2 highlights all game. They had one half chance that was blocked by Omar Colley, and then Batshuayi actually did have a good chance, but it was a terrible shot. He just shot right into Matgunok, and that was all they had all game. Like, we could basically almost completely nullified them all game. That's why. On the live reaction, I kept talking about how it was a complete tactical masterclass from Giovanni van Bronckhorst. The fact that if you count the penalty, we had 8 possessions all game compared to their 2. Just a half chance.
And theirs weren't even like other than, I think the Batshuayi one was a good chance.
Good chance.
But then the other one was the Ziyech one, right? And that was like a half chance, like you said. Like
Collie was in front of him and blocked it. It was like a half chance.
Yeah.
Maybe you can see if he shot a bit quicker, he could have avoided the block, but that was a half chance, man, at best. They only had one chance all game, Batshuayi, whereas we had like 7 or 8 proper positions, obviously scored 5 goals. I mean, this is the point I was making. I've been wanting to say this again because they couldn't bloody hear me on the last one because but I've said this in the past, and I said this on Saturday after the game in our live reaction video, but because of the technical difficulties we had, you lovely viewers couldn't hear me. But what I was saying was, I've been saying for a long time, I've said it before in the podcast, the boys will know I've been saying this for probably 2 years plus, 2.5 years maybe. Probably, I reckon I've been saying this ever since Sergen left, and that's over 2.5 years ago, that if a young modern coach that's pretty good comes to Turkey, they'll make a difference. And as much as I was a bit apprehensive about Gio because of certain factors, which I think he's kind of proven me wrong, and certain things he's done is ease my mind, and obviously this game is completely eased my mind alongside the friendlies. But I've said a young coach that modern football that's pretty good would make a big difference in Turkey, and from the get-go we've seen that from Giovanni van Bronckhorst. The team that's won the league the last 2 years broke the league's point record last season. The coach is the same, the team's the same. From the first competitive game, you've absolutely went in and fucked that coach and destroyed that team.
Yeah, they have zero excuses. Like, nobody left. They had everyone available. Nobody was injured.
And their claim that they were unprepared is...
that's Okan's claim, right? But that's his job.
Yeah.
His job
that's
is
exactly,
to prepare
that's basically
the team.
it's admitting you didn't do your job, first of all, but it's also saying that we are somehow less prepared than this team that's full of new players with a new coach playing a new system, but somehow we're the ones who's unprepared. And it's not like they played less friendlies there or anything, right? Like they had a preseason too. So I'm sorry, but that is not only a lame excuse, but it's an insult to anyone's intelligence.
But I think that's also why their fans are so outraged and why they like most of the blame actually that I've seen online, like most of the outrage seems to be aimed at Okan, like not even at the boards, because I think a lot of people are angry that that their transfers are late and all that kind of stuff. But realistically, if you look at them and their needs, like, I think we right now are still a more incomplete team than they are on paper. Like, we still need fullbacks, we still need maybe another midfielder, we definitely still need a winger. I think their issues are like, okay, they don't have a proper right back. Like, I think Kanahan is a fine player, good utility player and all that, but obviously, they went from Sasha Boy to now Khan, and they're completely different types. Like, they don't have the energy, they don't have the offensive contribution there, so they definitely need somebody there. But then, like, Kuhn, Kuhn's serviceable. Like,
defensively,
he's not terrible. He's an okay player. Like, you can't.
He might be overrated.
It's not like they have but it's not Onur Bulut, right? Like,
no way. Yeah.
Kuhn's good going forward, but he's a liability in defence.
Against Rafa Silva.
As we saw on that play where he was like afraid of coming at Rafa Silva.
That's what I've seen the 2 games we played, because I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, I don't really watch Galatasaray that much at all. I watch some of the European games, and I watch them when they play us, of course. But in the 2 games I've seen Kuhn, he's looked, I mean, to be honest, in this game he done fuck all, he didn't do anything offensively. But in the first the game when...
But that's because he couldn't, though. That's
because we nullified him,
exactly.
But in the game in March, when we played them in the league, Al-Masrati scored own goal. The guy looked good going forward, but Rashika was having quite an easy day of it, beating him on that right flank. Well, obviously it's their left, but all right. And then Gazal also done well later on coming on that right flank. And then in this game as well, Rashika, I think, for the most part, got the best of him. Rafa Silva, when obviously he was at the 10 first, but went out to the left. But when Rafa was on the 10 and kind of drifting out to the right, he got the better of him. So, like, in this game, he, obviously, because we nullified him so much, he couldn't do anything offensively. But from that first time I saw him play, he did look pretty good offensively. But I think this guy is a liability at the back. So, like, he is a weak point for them for sure, and defensively. But we need to look at this, and we've beat it. This, like you could say, oh, they were lacking a right back. Kuhn's not the best defensively, but they still basically won every game in the league in the second half of last season, bar a couple. And we absolutely destroyed them. 5-0.
They should have no excuses. Yeah, no, I
don't get holes. Like we still have holes, as you were saying, Can. For me, we definitely need another creative winger, because just now the only player that I've said this before, the only player we have on the team that creates over two chances per 90 is Rafa Silva. I think we definitely need another player that has that kind of similar output. To be honest, I think Svensson is fine to play right back all season. Masuaku, we definitely need someone that's a lot more reliable.
The only thing, as far as right back goes, is we need a backup, which should be a Turk, right? I mean, I don't know who's out there, but
yeah, it's quite hard though, isn't it, when you think about the kind of the options we have. I mean, a lot of the fan base weren't too happy with Bunyamin Bargi. Zeki Cherik could be an option. As much as to be honest, I'm not a big fan of him, but there is clearly something about him, considering he's played for like Leland Roma all these years, so there clearly is something about him.
Yeah, but what are you paying if you bring him in, right? Like, that's not gonna be cheap.
Exactly, it'd be costly.
I got another video, by the way, to show you guys. I don't know if
should I do some comments, by the way?
Yeah, give me a second. Let me see. Have a look if this will work. Where is it? Work. This is the team chanting Gio's name in the locker room, and I think that it just kind of harkens back to what we were saying earlier. The camaraderie, like they're already embracing the coach. There seems to be a lot of positivity and all that.
It seems like he's got the full team on side with what he wants to do, and that's something that we had out of last year. Look at all the coaches that came in. I mean, to be honest, Sanford was I thought it wasn't a good one when it happened. The time proved the result to be right about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we have to be honest about it. We don't want to be right when we say, I'm not sure about this one. I mean, obviously, you want to be wrong. Like some people, you have people that prefer being right anything.
Yeah,
I prefer being right.
I mean, if you listen to the podcast before, it was so very evident that it wasn't going to be good enough. Even in our group chat, we all backed the idea on the time, but once we said it's going to go, we were all upset and all right about it because we wanted to be wrong. Because all of us, we want this going.
Papi çık abi. Gürkan abi. Abi çıkar mısın? Güvenlik çık abi.
Yeah, you're I don't think I saw that. Look at all these guys doing the five. Like Abu's got 2 5s.
Papi çık abi. Gürkan abi. Abi çıkar mısın? Güvenlik çık abi.
But it's good. It's good though, yeah. It's not bad at all. Hey, Con, now we're being put the video.
Papi çık abi. Gürkan abi. Abi çıkar mısın? Güvenlik çık abi.
Here, I'll get some water while you're playing them.
Arkadaşlarının yanına gidiyor. Evet.
Muted. It should not be too loud now for you guys. It's just the celebration, the cup celebration. Obviously, if you missed it, did you guys see this? Did you see this live, Katha? Because I felt like they kind of botched it.
Yeah, I mean we were doing the live reaction when it was on, and I was getting that focused on like what we were talking about rather than this, but. And I did kind of say on there at that time that I missed the moment we left of the trophy, but I did go back and watch it, and they botched it with the confetti. It was too late.
Yeah.
Didn't have the correct timing there. But yeah, I mean, I mean, it's still nice seeing your team lift the trophy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
He's boxed or not. It was a beautiful moment. And obviously, more than the actual trophy itself, I think we will just remember this score fondly.
For sure.
But is there anything else you guys want to talk about the game? I feel like we've kind of...
yeah, there actually is some more things I want to talk about, but I want to wait for Sinan.
Do you guys remember? I'm right here. Do you guys remember how when we were all watching, I was like, I'm seeing a different feed. Like it's so it turns out it's because mine wasn't live. It was like set back.
Okay.
But so I was actually watching that the whole time. I saw the whole trophy thing because that's when we were probably like bumbling around with technical issues.
Yeah.
So I saw that, but then I missed all the stuff that you guys were talking about which is probably good because it was the interviews and you know they don't. Yeah. I wouldn't have understood anything anyway. But no, it's funny. I saw all of that. Yeah, and it's great. I think it's great, like as Cartel was saying, just to see the guys lifting a trophy. And then you see they got to have a little celebration in the locker room. All of this stuff is just great. Like it's like bullets in the chamber, right? As far as camaraderie and morale and all of that. So I don't know. I'm feeling great. I feel like it was a great experience. And for the new guys, right? I mean, we already talked about this in the last in the reaction, but for Ciro to see the club operating at a high level right out of the gates, to see the fans making noise, really getting behind the team. It's like the perfect start, actually.
Yeah, 100% agree. So one thing I want to ask you guys, and what I want to ask the listeners as well who are watching live with us, who are in the live chat at the moment. So I said it earlier already, I kind of alluded to it already. So I think one of the most impressive, if not the most impressive debut ever, especially given the magnitude of the game. So the question really is, like Sina said earlier, we should probably discuss this. Who was more impressive? Was Ciro Immobile more impressive, or was Rafa Silva more impressive? Katel, I'm gonna let you take this one first. And please, in the comments, let us know who you thought was the most impressive as well.
I mean, for me, it was Rafa Silva. I mean, the guy ran more than anyone else on the park. He had more key passes than anyone else on the park. Showed great dribbling. Was great from the first minute to the 90th minute. The reason why I picked him over Immobile, I thought had a very good first half. It was very, very good. Link-up play was brilliant. But in the second half, I felt he did tire a bit. I mentioned this on the live reaction just after the game. Immobile did seem like he kind of tired in that second half, and the passing got a bit sloppy. And obviously, the second goal was a great penalty, but I feel like he didn't really offer that much in that second half, whereas Rafa was amazing throughout. I mean, even we spoke about this on the live reaction as well, he done that chase down tackle on Yunus Akun at one point as well. I just think it was a near perfect performance from Rafa Silva, and for me that's why he was clearly my man of the match and was a more impressive out of the two.
Yeah, Sinan, who was your man of the match, Rafa or Ciro?
I'm gonna go with Rafa too. I mean, especially the fact that he was like our best fullback at the end of the match, right? It really highlights how, like, it's not just that he ran the most, but he was doing what needed to be done to like close out the game. Not just, it's like, how much better is it that it was a shutout, that we kept them to a clean sheet? And like he plays a vital role in that by putting in 100%, even from the first whistle to the last. But it's that effort, I think, that you can build on. It's that result that like everything goes into this being what it was, and I think Rafa being the guy who ran the most and who was the most impactful and even contributed to goals, theoretically the most. So I guess that's like a tie, right? Because he had a goal and an assist. Immobile had 2 goals. I think Rashid had a goal and an assist. So a lot of people were tied there. Right? Oh yeah. Svensson did, yeah.
So I mean,
Rashid had what? Just 1 assist or 2?
No, he didn't have any. It was
really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so the first goal was Svensson assist, Ciro goal. Second one was Rafa assist, Svensson goal. I'm gonna call it an assist. Third one was a penalty, which Jetson won. Fourth one was Salih assist, Rafa goal.
Salih, that's what it was. Yeah, I think I had
fifth one was Rafa assist, Mustafa goal. So I'm going to concur with you guys, and I'm going to concur with what Ömer is saying and what Finish Kebab are saying in the chat as well. It has to be Rafa, right? Like, I don't remember a more impressive debut. Like I said earlier, there's the Demba Ba one that comes to mind against Feyenoord, which You know, I'm even gonna give him that. Like that the 3-goal, the hat trick is his debut, even though it's not technically. Like I think Ciro was. If I'd have to give Ciro numbers, I think I'd definitely give him an 8. I think he was really good in the first half. I think he was good for about. I think he was good in the second. He had some moments in the second half. I think he didn't really have a lot of highlights in the second half. I think, but he did work his socks off. He was really good in the combination. He came back to help. He worked really hard. And there's this tactical analysis video that I sent in our WhatsApp community, and I sent it to you as well, Kath. I told you to watch it. I don't know if you watched it, but
Watch it, yeah.
Yeah. So
To be honest, I was going to, man, but I forgot about it.
Oh, I mean, you should have watched it because it like really nicely explained how basically Ciro took like the left half of the pitch to press and to run down to, and how Rafa took the right side of the pitch to press and run down to, and stuff like that. And it really explains some really explained a lot about how our pressing game worked, how exactly we outplayed Galatasaray, how we essentially neutralized them from the first minute. And I think that's the biggest takeaway of this game is that we didn't just win 5-0, we also just completely neutralized them. Like in the first half, I have some Galatasaray friends who were saying like, oh, I think both teams aren't playing great. Beşiktaş are better, but they're not playing great. We are not playing well at all. And I just thought to myself, I didn't respond to it because I don't like goating people. Like I don't, especially not during a game, because first and foremost, it can blow up in your face. But second of all, it's just not in my nature. But don't get me wrong.
Wait, who was this?
Nobody you know. Just a Galatasaray friend. You don't know him. But I just thought. I think I can. I just no, you can't. You don't know this guy. And I just thought to myself, no, you guys are not playing well. We actually are. Like, it's not because we didn't create 5 chances that we aren't playing brilliantly. Because look at the game. You are nowhere. We have completely locked you down. Our game plan is perfect. Obviously, scoring a goal after 22 seconds helps a lot. It reminds a lot of the first half between Turkey and Austria. At these past Euros. But Beşiktaş...
I mean, that was a bit different because the first kind of 20 minutes of that game gave Austria chances.
Yeah.
And then obviously dealt and defended well, and then second half of that game we gave them a lot of chances, to be honest. But because I feel like Gio, the tactical ability Gio showed in this game was far superior to anything Montella showed in the Euros. I mean, like, I don't think that one of the biggest criticisms I think with the Turkish team is we said that we struggled to really nullify anyone like Gio did to Galatasaray in this game.
Yeah.
Apart from maybe the Netherlands in the first half, outside like the first kind of 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, and that's exactly. And what Ömer is saying now as well, those Galatasaray fans saw the 2 offside goals as their mistake, not our defensive ability. The line moving together and leaving Icardi and Kerem offside was an act of Gio, not a pass or something in their passing. And exactly, I think that's one of those things. Like, I was reading some comments on Twitter afterwards as well when I was in a full-on Schadenfreude mode, and I was checking a lot of Galatasaray comments. Like one Galatasaray fan wrote like, we scored twice now offside, but the goal is coming. You can feel it. And I just thought to myself, man, like those 2 offsides, like that, you can't count that because like you were like 2 and 1.5 meter offside. Like it wasn't even close. Like a blind man, aka me, saw it straight away that it was offside. Like if I can see it, like anyone can, and especially if there's VAR. Like before the VAR era, you probably would have gotten the goal there, because But like now in this day and age, and this is also why I'm a massive proponent of VAR, because still there's lots of shenanigans, and there always will be, especially in Turkish football. But at least you're not gonna get these types of goals anymore, man. Because I remember how many times Galatasaray with Drogba and with Burak scored like offside goals like this, and they were just given. They can't do that anymore now. At least that's at least something. And that's it. Like, I think we talked about it earlier. Like they had 2 chances, and they had those 2 offside goals, and then they had that 1 chance for Ziyech. And we didn't really create much in the first half, other than I think that Ciro volley, which could have been the 2-0. But it's not about just the chance creation. Like, obviously our game plan immediately changes. Like, we score after 22 seconds. We don't have to score again. Like, the game is in our bag at that point. And obviously, okay, you can't, it's not in your bag, but like, we are on the forefoot, if that makes sense. So it's not up to us anymore at that point to create a bunch of chances. And what we did was contain them really well. We didn't let them play their usual game, and we completely disrupted everything they tried to do. Other than that 1/2 chance they had in the first half, and then obviously in the second half we finished the job and we killed them off completely. But like,
we had possessions in the second half, which is
so I think our first half performance tactically was close to a 9, I would say. Like, that was a really good tactical performance. It wasn't the sexiest performance, but I think we played really fucking well. And you need to keep in mind, this is a team, like Karla said earlier, who broke the points record last season with 102 points, and we finished like 50 points or 46 points behind them. Like, there was a massive gap in quality between us and them. And for us to go into this game and completely outplay them, and that's just what happened. We completely outplayed them. This wasn't even a lucky win. This wasn't a they scored first, they got lucky, and then it kind of escalated from there. And it's not one of those. It's a complete and utter tactical destruction. Our players were hungrier. Our players were better prepared, more motivated, and they had them by the scruff of the neck from the first until the last minutes. And I think the fact that we did not relent even in added time, we kept going. That's also a massive positive. And I'm gonna stop talking now because you guys have been affirming it, but I feel like you wanna interject. Go ahead, sorry, Kathleen.
There's no way you could deny that, like, it was just a complete annihilation, man. I mean, when you score 5 goals, including a penalty, create 8 positions, and all your opposition has is one kind of half chance and one good chance the whole game. Mm-hmm. Like, as you were saying, there's no way any Galatasaray fan could turn around and say, "Oh, that was lucky." Like, that's just like a complete annihilation, and just we gave them a football lesson, man. And as you were saying, Karen, we finished, I think it was 46 points behind them. They broke the points record. We were really bad. It just shows you that a coach that has actually got good tactics and good communication. Because we did find out from our research about Gio when he first signed was the guy was a top tier communicator with his players. A guy that's a good communicator, a good guy, knows tactics, and then you complement that with 3 quality signings. Look how that over like the one game. That difference vanishes, and we are way ahead of them. I mean, to be honest, in the one-on-one games last season, anyway, there's great passes in both of them. Yeah. So they never really outplayed us in either of those games. To be honest, we kind of more outdone ourselves in those games, but obviously over the season they did outdo us. But I mean, but that's as I was saying, it's still like as I was referring to in our live reaction. This game is a sprint, not the marathon, and. Yeah. As we said before, they've got a complete team, we don't. Like, our subs were, as I mentioned on the live reaction, were Onana, Honourable, and Hekimoglu and Sarri. To be honest, like, the only 2 players that a lot of people want to actually see in the team this season are Hekimoglu and Sarri. And I mean, some people are coming round on Onana. The jury's still, it's a bit of a mix. Before it was 100% negative, now it's a bit mixed because he actually did come on and play a good game. Mm-hmm. But we need a lot more, like, to maintain this dominance we had over them and over the sprint, to spread that to the marathon. We do need a lot more depth, and we do need a couple more injections of quality in the top 11 as well, especially another creative player for sure. But the main thing is as well, look, Fayaz was talking to the press after the game, and he said that we're going to go into the season with one or 2 more signings, and then there could be more if there's anyone that leaves. I mean, to me, going into the season with 1 or 2, that suggested kind of, because this was on Monday, that there would be 2 signings before Sunday, but that's still starting to look a bit unlikely now because it's wedding. I haven't heard anything concrete. But I think, to be honest, we still need another 4 or 5 signings. 1 definitely for the top 11. Really, you could argue 2 as well if you count that Masuaku's probably not going to be reliable. At least get someone at a similar quality. But yeah, man, like if we can get these signings, there's no reason why we can't be thinking that we can definitely win a title this year if we get those signings. Because just now we've shown that we're better than them in the sprint, but obviously we just need some more pieces out of the marathon.
Yeah, and still at the end of the day, a derby match is always gonna be like, it's not because we won this one by a big margin that, like, I think we played them in like week 9 or something. Like, it doesn't mean because we win this game that we're gonna win that one. First and foremost, that game is away. That's in their stadium. You know, and naturally that's difficult. That's a difficult game. So it's not because we win this one 5-0 that we'll win that one easily or even win it at all. Like, they're gonna be extremely motivated. They wanna, they're you know, they're a proud team. They have a lot of players that have been there for a couple of years already. You have Muslera, you have leaders in the locker room there. I mean, even Icardi, you would imagine, like, Icardi, Mertes, I don't think they'll be happy about this, man. And like, there was this image of afterwards when we were celebrating, Muslera, Torreira, Kerem, I think, like a couple of their players stayed and actually watched us celebrate and applauded us and stuff. And people were saying about, oh, that's great sportsmanship. And yeah, it is. But I don't think that's just being a great gentleman and sportsmanship, man. I think those guys, what they were doing is they were loading themselves up. They were like just fueling themselves with motivation next time we meet. And this is going to be a matter of honor for them now the next time we meet, man. Like, they're going to want to get their win back. So I think they're going to be extremely motivated for the next derby. So I wouldn't just count our chickens just yet. Like, I think that's going to be a very tough game, and they're going to be a lot better than they were today. Like, even though in this game, even though Giovanni outclassed Okan tactically and all that, like we saw against Bayern München and against Manchester United last season what a highly motivated Galatasaray side can do. Like, they don't need to be the best tactically. If they're all like super motivated, like our players clearly were for this game, like they can always run that extra couple of meters. And tactics are extremely important, but sometimes in a derby match, like things just go crazy, especially in the league in Turkey. So yeah, I wouldn't count our chickens, like I said. So don't expect because we won this one handily that we'll win the next one easily as well, because that one's going to be difficult and they are going to be extremely motivated. Sinan, do you have anything to add, man? Because we've been talking for a while and you haven't been able to say anything.
I don't know. I mean, in a way, I feel like we're kind of flogging a dead horse at this point too. You know, like I don't know. You know, I'm sure we've said everything there is to say about this match, and in a way, you know, like people in our group chat are like, "Oh, we're winning the championship now," and it's like, you know, this game could be bad for us if we start coming out of it with that kind of mentality. Definitely. And not just for the players, but from the fans, like, perspective, because they're going to be chanting Istifa, you know, and realistically, we're not going to win every game, and we're, you know, things aren't going to go our way at some point, and it's important not to get, I think, too carried away. I think, honestly. But hold on, mate.
Sinan, you finish, Sinan, bro. Sorry, and I'll just add this point on. Sorry, mate.
Go ahead, Kartok. Go ahead, man.
All I was saying, you were talking about we need to keep our kind of feet on. We need to keep our feet on the ground. But one thing I actually will credit our fan base with is, as much as we are taking the piss out of Galatasaray constantly, from, obviously we can't comment on the full fan base, but from the social media side of things, everyone seems to be still in the realisation that our opposition has a lot more depth than us, and they've got a lot more complete squads than we do. I mean, look at the guys they brought on, like Zaha, Barış Alper, Batshuayi. Like, these guys are all top quality players, man. whereas the guys, as I said, we brought in aren't that quality, so aren't that high quality. So our fan base have actually, they aren't getting carried away. They're keeping their feet in the ground and they're saying, look, we still need another 4 or 5 transfers, 1 or 2 players for the starting 11 and the rest for depth to actually have a good shot at winning this. Because although we won this game 5-0, we might struggle against, say, a Samsung if they're going to go out and defend. Because we outside Rafa, we don't really have much of a creative force. So I think people are quite smart, man. Like these days, and I actually often criticise our fan base for being stupid. But I think, especially the social media, Beşiktaş fans on Twitter, especially, like a lot of them seem to be quite smart, and they do realise that we don't have a complete squad in the opposition doing to be able to compete over that marathon, as I was talking about. We still need a lot of players, so I think we are keeping our feet on the ground and we aren't getting too carried away, which normally that isn't the case. So I think
you're plugged into Twitter more than I am, no doubt. But if you look at our group chat, for example, I'd say at least 4 people have said we're winning the title.
Yeah, but how serious?
The, like,
how serious are
group.
they though? Like that's like.
And then like Umer Gunal right here,
joking.
guys, in the group chat here, Umer Gunal says, "I believe we'll win the league."
I mean, I believe so
points,
too. Like I also am pretty confident that we have a massive chance, but we need like. It's really early days right now. And first of all, like Galatasaray are in complete chaos right now, but Galatasaray are the only club, I think, in the world that thrive in chaos. Like anytime they get in this chaotic situation like this, like they tend to, like somehow they that fuels them. So for me, they are still the favorites. A lot of people right now are saying, no, Fenerbahce are the favorites for me now, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah. No, for me right now, still Galatasaray are the favorites. They have the most complete team. They have the best team, I think. If they sell Kerem, if they sell Kun, if they sell, like, some of these players and they bring in other good players, like, you know, a lot can happen. But then there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes as well. They're having a lot of cash flow issues, it seems. A lot of people, like for example, there was an article in Kicker and Bild, I don't remember, of Derek Kun. They hadn't even paid his fee. Like the fact that they just signed this guy from Norwich, Gabriel Sara, for officially 18 million, but I think it's more like 26 million. And Kicker, I think it was, wrote that, I don't even remember what Kun's previous club was, but that they were shocked to learn that Galatasaray had paid this type of a fee, since they still had a 2.5 million outstanding fee that they owed them for Kun. So, and that's not the first time we've heard this kind of stuff. And this isn't Fanatic or Fotomatch or Turkish media, you know, because in Turkish media there's always the possibility that it's a Fenerli account or whatever, or Fenerli journalist that is like throwing this stuff in there just to try and create a certain perspective. No, this is Kicker. This is German. Or Bild. I don't even remember which one it was. Like, this is a trustworthy German source, you know, like, and they are writing this kind of things. Then there's the whole thing with this whole Gabriel Sara thing, where Galatasaray reported it as 18 million, but according to Norwich, it's 26 million. And of course, we've seen plenty of shenanigans with them in the past, where they were, like last year, they blatantly lied about Bakambu's sale. Like, they reported it as like 5 million or something, while in reality it was nowhere near that. They actually reported the wages he was still gonna be paid under his contract, and they reported that as a transfer fee. And like now with Olimpio Morutsan, they did the same thing. So they loaned him to Ankaragücü with an obligation to buy if he played, I don't know, 25 games or something like that. He never got to those amount of games, obviously, because of his injury or whatever. But they reported it as a 3 million euro sale. But it wasn't. It was actually an obligation or an option to buy for 3 million. But they reported it in their books as if they had already received those 3 millions. And that, of course, increased their limits, their spending limit, which
fraud,
yeah. So it is blatant fraud, and like they're constantly cooking their books and kind of stuff. So like now we're hearing a lot of stuff of them having issues with paying stuff. So there's that. I think the one thing, like I think sportive chaos, they will always get out of that. But the only thing that can really cost them is if they can't pay their bills anymore. That's when they will go through another
There's been some. Have you seen the reports about Icardi?
No.
There was a guy.
Oh yeah, that he earns 20 million a year or something with bonuses. That you mean that?
6. Yeah, they reported it as 6. Is about his actual wage is 16, and with bonuses is 20. I mean, if that's true, man, that's crazy.
What I heard last year is that he gets guaranteed 10, and they reported it as 6. And the same thing with Zaha, they reported it as like 4.2, but he gets 8.
Yeah.
Ziyech, same thing, gets paid a lot more than his reported wage.
They're shady bastards.
Yeah, I mean, even Ali Koch said it right. Like they were negotiating with Zaha, and Zaha was asking them for 8 million or something, and then he supposedly went to Galatasaray for 4.2. Like,
yeah,
that's not right. But then again, Fenerbahce don't really have much to say either, in my opinion, because that's literally the pot calling the kettle black. Because they did the same thing with Dzeko and with Tadic. Like they're paying Tadic more than what they're actually like what they reported.
And then the famous Arturo Tashkaran.
Yeah, but that was before them. That was before Ali Koch. So let's not talk about that.
Sure.
But let's talk like, for example, the Vedat Muric transfer. They paid officially 3.5 million euros for him, but then Çaykur Rizespor got like 2 sponsorship deals from Koch companies out of it as well. So that's all money that, like, officially they got 3.5 million, but in reality they got like 6. Same thing. Same.
Yeah, I'm just something. I'm sure Tashkaran was during Ali Koch's tenure.
No, that was at the end of Aziz Yildirim. I looked it up a while ago, I think, or somebody told me. I don't remember. By the way, not really Beşiktaş news, but Ferdi Kadioglu is apparently like.
Aziz, you're right. Sorry,
man. Brighton made a 35 million or close to 35 million offer for Ferdi Kadioglu, apparently, according to Yağız Sabuncuoğlu. So that's probably Ferdi gone from Fener. So that's a big loss for them. So to circle back to the whole, do we have a chance at the title this season? I think this game against Galatasaray does show us that we do have a chance, and that but the problem is that I think, and this is something you were talking about earlier, Kartal, like you said, if a proper youngish foreign coach comes, he can do a job. I think the big issue is what we saw from Galatasaray last season is whenever they came up against a team with a good tactical plan, whether it be Molde, whether it be Copenhagen, whether it be Sparta Prague, they always struggled. The problem is that in the Turkish League, you don't have those coaches, or far and few between. Çağdaş, you could argue. İlhan Palut, you could argue. But like, is Ali Çamdala going to make a great tactical plan to make it difficult for Galatasaray? I doubt it.
The thing with Çağdaş and İlhan as well, they're not proven on that European stage, man. So yes, they are, but that's relative to Turkey.
Yeah.
So
of course, and that's I mean, but like a Brian Priske who was in charge of Sparta Prague, he's a relatively young coach, relatively unproven. Like the thing is that I think with Fenerbahce and Galatasaray, they have such good teams. They have such good teams. That's not even right, because I think if Galatasaray had a good team, they would have gotten further in Europe last season. They would have beaten Sparta Prague. They would have beaten Copenhagen. But they have such good quality individual talent in their squads that they can afford to be not very good tactically and still brush past 90% of the opposition in Turkey right now. Like, Hatay, Friday Galatasaray are opening against Hatay. Hatay, the way after the earthquake, and I know last season Galatasaray lost 2 games, and one of those games was Hatay. But this is Hatay at home in the Türk Telekom Arena, or whatever it's called nowadays. Like, realistically, I don't see Hatay having much of a chance. And it's the same thing, I think, like a Pendik in the past years, or a Fatih Karagümrük. Like, a couple of years ago when Fatih Karagümrük was being coached by, what's his name? The guy who's in charge at Ajax now.
Really?
Farioli, exactly. When they had Farioli and they had players like Biglia and Borini, I think it was, right? Was it Borini? Yeah, they had those types of players. That was a really dangerous team. And they hurt us when we won the league. They hurt us badly. And that's a team that could hurt this Galatasaray, this Fenerbahce. A team like that could definitely hurt them. You know, a Sivasspor from a couple of years ago when they were under Riza and they had Emre Kilinç and they had Mertakan Yandaş and they had, you know, Yatabare and whatever. Like, they were pretty good back then. And they had Max Gradel, I think. Like, they were good. Like, but like the last season, there wasn't a team like that. Like, and usually we have a couple of teams like that. You know, Adana Demirspor over the last couple of years, you know, they were coached by Montella. I think we can all agree Montella isn't the best coach, but for Turkish standards, he's a decent coach. And he had a lot of talent. He had Yunus Belhanda, he had Mario Balotelli, he had Yusuf, whatever. I want to say Yusuf Şimşek, but that's not right. Yeah, Yusuf Sarı, and they had Basson Balonga, and they had Jonas Svensson, and they had a lot of really good players. Yeah. And last season, Adana Demirspor were shit. Başakşehir were shit for the first half of the season until Çağdaş finally towards the second half of the season, Çağdaş got them back on track a little bit, but obviously at that point, like, they weren't, you know,
they need forced.
Yeah. And you know, Trabzonspor, they finished third, but they were like, you know, they got embarrassed by Galatasaray twice. Obviously against Fenerbahce they're a little bit more motivated, so they made it more difficult for Fener. I think they even beat them. Yeah, they beat them exactly. But then, like, against Galatasaray twice, I think it was a blowout. Like, I think they got embarrassed twice. Wasn't it like 1-5 or something in their stadium? Something crazy like that?
They got spanked. I can't remember the score, but I do know they get spanked. I think Karen, the main factor in that though is I think the TV deal, because
maybe
up until 2 years ago but I think for this season the TV deal's higher than it's been the last couple of years, so we might see the underdog teams being a bit better this year.
Yeah, that's what I think that is what our title challenge is going to depend on. Because last season, essentially what it was Galatasaray and Fenerbahce winning everything, except for the games head-to-head. Like, they won like 90% of their matches. And then they drew each other, and Fener won the second game. And then Fener dropped points once more in the smaller game, so to speak. And that's what made the difference. And I think this season, if we want to be champions, we need the Anadolu teams to be better than they were last season and the season before, because we need teams to be able to hurt Galatasaray and Fenerbahce. Because right now, if you, let's say on Sunday, we don't win in Samsun, like, if the season is gonna go like it went last season, for example, like, losing 2 points is already throwing in the towel almost. And that's what makes it so difficult at the moment.
Yeah, but I'm hoping, because obviously the last couple of years the TV deal was a lot lower than it was before, and that really affected the Anatolian teams, especially in that second year, because obviously these things, like, it can take a bit of time for them to proper hit, but we've seen it the last couple of years. I think last year especially the Anatolian teams were really bad. Obviously they were still able to hurt us because we were dog shit, but why they were so dominant, because those teams were so bad. But now the TV deals went up a bit again, not as high as it once was, but it's went up comparatively to what it was the last couple of seasons. Hoping that they are a bit better. And
I think it's 370 million now a year or something, which is a good deal.
Hopefully they can hurt Fenerbahce and Galatasaray a bit more, because see, the thing is, if we don't get the signings in that we're hoping, we're going to hope. We're going to have to hope we stay injury free. But I mean, I'm sure hopefully we will get the signings. And B, in the event we are injured and we drop some points, we need to hope that they're dropping points as well. So that's why, in that case, we definitely need the Anatolian teams to do better. Yeah. If we're obviously to get all the transfers that we need, if they're bad, if the Anatolian teams are still bad, we just need to make sure we are just the best. But I think it definitely would favour us if the Anatolian teams are a bit better, to be honest.
Yeah, fully agree with you on that. I mean, I think that kind of brings us to what I want to talk about next, and that's kind of a small prediction.
I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it seems to be that there's some internet issues. I don't know. So this basically takes me to the next point that I wanted to talk about, and that is.
Hey guys, I have a feeling we're gonna be cut off here. Oh,
no, I should be
we're
back.
live again.
I should be back.
No, because the YouTube feed was like gone, but
Okay.
now it's back. It's back.
Yeah. So we already kind of talked about whether we think we can make a realistic mount for the title. Sinan, I just wanted to get your thoughts on it now. For just looking at it from now with the squad we have, maybe 1 or 2 more additions. How realistic do you think we are to make a run for the title this season?
How realistic. I mean, there's so many factors to weigh, as you guys have said. You know, how good is the rest of the league? I mean, it sure seems like they're making more reinforcements than they have been recently. I'm a little worried about our internet feed though right now, bro. Is it? I wonder how it's coming through on the.
Should be fine. Just keep talking.
Anyway. So yeah, I mean, I don't think we need 4 or 5 players, to be honest, because I think if we get a starting right wing, you put Rashid on the bench and he can come in as a left wing, as a right wing, as a potentially a fullback. He's played in the middle of the pitch, you know, at the 10 role. So he gives you some versatility. Obviously, we need 2 fullbacks. I think you could aim for backups, you know? I mean, unless they're really committed to keeping Onur Bulut as a backup right back, in which case, obviously, that's maybe a shame from my perspective. But
yeah,
I mean, you know, I guess it is what it is. If you don't have a lot of money or time, you know, need to focus somewhere else. But so we definitely need a backup left back at the very least, because that I don't, you know, we've already bugged that one.
Yeah, we definitely do. Yeah.
Portuguese Gelen is not your third.
Stop picking on the kid,
ideally.
Man.
It is what it is, man.
You saw him for like.
We shouldn't be relying on him.
You need to stop riding the poor kid, man. Like he's gonna find you.
Yeah, but he can't be your backup. Dude, just think about it. Masuaku is your starter. He's likely gonna miss half the season. Portuguese Gelen is not your backup.
There's a guy called Emrecan Terzi who's still at the club as well, bro. Like, come on, chill.
Yeah, but he'd be your backup. Yeah. Is my point, right?
Yeah,
if Masuaku's injured,
yeah.
Portuguese Gelen. No. If Masuaku's injured, Emrecan is your starter. And Portuguese Gelen is your backup. That's why I'm talking about it. And he shouldn't be. That's not the quality we need. All right. And frankly, Emrecan Terzi shouldn't either. Okay. You don't want him to be starting if Masuaku goes down. Yeah. So that's going to be a vital move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
I think we can. So I mean, for me, that's 2 key moves that need to be made for sure. And then beyond that, it's debatable. But anyway. I don't know. It feels like, given the season that Galatasaray and Fener have come off of, to say that we should expect to win the title feels a little bit.
Not
you're setting yourself up for disappointment.
To win it, but do you think we have a realistic chance?
We have a chance, of course. I mean, it depends, obviously, how healthy can we stay. What is their situation? You know, does the chaos keep churning, or do they figure it out? Part of you assumes, like, again, given where they're coming from, they're probably more likely to figure it out than not.
Yeah.
All things considered, especially in the league. So, I mean, obviously, you always hope to win the title, and we're definitely in a much better position than last year. But are we in a position to make up like 30 points? You know, have we made that much of a leap forward, and have they slipped up to an extent that we? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think the most realistic thing is we're probably still the 3rd place team, honestly. Yeah. But, you know, who knows? Like, you hope for the best.
What does your top 3 look like then? Who do you think is winning it?
I'd probably pick Galatasaray to win it, and Fener in 2nd. Although
you can probably just spank them 5-0. You're saying Galatasaray is going to win? Really?
Yeah, I think so. Just given where they've come from, and they don't, you know, on the transfer market, they don't theoretically have a lot of work to do, honestly.
All right. They've got Jelliot, they've got Sarah. I think that's them done.
Yeah, and then Fener, you know, they've got En-Nesyri, like, I don't know, man. Like, they've reinforced pretty well. It's a little scary.
I'm very underwhelmed about Fenerbahce's transfers.
Yeah, that's why I have them 2nd, because like I don't think they've done
I do think they were the best team last season. I thought they were better than Galatasaray last season.
Especially when they played us. They actually looked good against us.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and their problem was like Dzeko by the end of the season, but they've now
They ran out of steam. Yeah.
resolved that. So
Have they though?
I mean, with City, right?
Yeah,
like
have they?
theoretically, I don't know how.
Man.
Is he not reliable?
some
I don't know much
serious
about
doubts.
him, to be honest.
Dude, this is a guy. He's 27. He's going on 28. He's had 2 seasons in his entire career where he scored more than 10 goals in the league. Like, that's not a. I know, man.
pay 25 million for that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Cathal, give me your top 3 for next season, or even top 5. You can go top 5 if you want.
And for me, there's 2 scenarios. Scenario 1, we sign another 4 to 5 players. So we get a backup, we get left and right backs. We sign a winger.
Dude, with all those pauses in between your sentences, are you waiting for my internet to cut out again?
I'm just trying to build up the anticipation to what
I'm sorry, I'm just like, every time you pause, I'm like, oh shit, man, I'm just gonna...
we sign the fullbacks, like fullbacks at least for depth. If we get a right wing, if we get like maybe like a number 8, depending on the situation with Jason. I think in that situation where we fill out our holes, yeah, another centre back as well. If someone goes, the equality goes. If we get sort out the depth and you get a starting caliber like star creative player, I think they're going to win the league in that case. If we don't do that, I think what Sinan says could happen, and I think we could end third.
Yeah.
And that will be not because we're worse than them, but because we just don't have enough depth.
And can I be honest, like, part of why I'm being kind of intentionally negative is that I'm really scared that all the people who kind of seem to be very hopeful of us winning a title, and again, like, you've got to be a little hopeful. That's part of being a fan of a big club. But I'm just really afraid of the people who are going to start chanting for like people's heads, you know, when if things don't go our way immediately, or if things do kind of fall off the tracks a little bit, or if we have a really good season maybe and finish third, but we're competitive the whole way through. Yeah. Like, that'd still be a huge improvement over where we were last season. And I'm there's just part of me that, like, I don't want to gas people's heads and get us so hyped for like a championship that we kind of start, you know, throwing the baby out with the bathwater when things don't go our way. And that's really my biggest fear is, you know, the reactionary fan base. Yeah. If things don't go perfectly, which, like, to be realistic, like, things would basically have to go perfectly for us to win the title, given where we've come from and where our rivals
have to be
are coming
2015, 2016 season.
Cathal, you're a miracle. We did miracles.
Man, she's a counter to what you've said though. Where did Galatasaray end in 21-22?
What's your point though?
They ended in 13th place.
13th place. And what happened the next season?
They bought.
What's your point though? How is that relevant to where we are now though? Because it's not like Galatasaray.
Because you're saying that you don't know how realistic it is to come from so far behind and win the league. Galatasaray just done it 2 years ago, where they went.
Yeah, but look at the
what they
money
spent.
they spent.
Yeah, like, I mean, we spent a lot this season, but we're nowhere close to what they spent, man.
What I will say is to kind of like back up your point. Like, that's one end of the coin where it's been done, but on the other end of the coin, I think there was no kind of team at that point where you felt that's a team and they're going to keep winning. You never felt that. Whereas just now we do have 2 teams that are set and are ready to go.
Yeah, you have 2 teams that had 102 and 99 points respectively last season. So
that's a difference. So I do see where you're coming from, Cena. It's a valid point, but I think you don't cut off the hope, man, because we've seen dramatic turnarounds in the past. So
we're gonna need.
I'm all for hope. I'm all for hope, and I certainly think there's a chance. I just don't want people to get ahead of themselves and to start tearing this thing apart unnecessarily, right? Because like it's just we've taken a huge step forward, and I think if it's not enough for all of our dreams to be realized, like, that's okay too, right? Like, it's still just, you know, it's a big step forward from a very dark place that we've been in. And I'm just worried that people might be getting a little too carried away, is all.
So I would just say, like, in the scenario where we get the signings we need, I think we'll be first.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fenerbahce second, Galatasaray. In fact, no, I'll say Beşiktaş third, Galatasaray fourth, Trabzon fifth. If we
That's
get,
your
I
realistic
think if
expecting?
Galatasaray, yeah, I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna save my
right, and then if we don't get the signings, I think Fenerbahce will break their streak and win the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think us or Beşiktaş will be
You think it's up to us to stop them,
yeah.
not
I
Galatasaray?
think Beşiktaş will be second,
So you're writing off Galatasaray then?
unless like something happens and like maybe like the coach changes.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm getting just now is, I mean, have you heard about the rumours?
Which rumors?
Apparently, like Kerem Aktürkoğlu when he apparently said that, basically, I'm a son of a whore if I wear this shirt again. So it seems like there's major problems in that dressing room.
I mean, I've seen those rumors before last season. I think a couple, and the problem is how much can you believe of it, right? Like,
Yeah, I know, I suppose. But I think unless something major happens at Galatasaray, I think the locker room's like fucked. I think there's a lot of unrest in that locker room. Obviously, if these rumours are
there's
true.
been issues with Kerem in the past, right? He's gotten beaten up by Marcao in the past and stuff like that. Like, he's clearly not the most popular, not the most liked guy, I think.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
That's also one of the reasons, like, I see a lot of Beşiktaş fans who are like, oh, the Galatasaray wants rid of him, let's get him. And I'm like, no, don't want that anywhere near. Don't want to touch that with a 20-foot pole. Like, I'm sorry, but that like, I think Kerem, like, in this derby game, I actually thought he was the most threatening Galatasaray player, and he only played for 45 minutes because he got yoinked at halftime. But I actually thought in the first half he was the most dangerous player they had. Because every time he got on the ball, it did feel like if anyone's going to do anything, it's going to be him. Like, he's the only one that can really create any sort of chaos, if that makes sense.
I like Kerem, man. I've rated him.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I think he's like I said, like every time he got the ball, I felt like something might happen here, actually, because he's fast. He's kind of like Rafa. Like, he's really quick and fast, and he can create chaos, and players kind of back off of him and stuff like that. But then I think on the flip side, like, Rafa is a very selfless, team-oriented player, and Kerem is an egomaniac. Like, he's so obsessed with being in the spotlight and being the match winner, and he's an extremely selfish player. And I think that shows on the pitch, because he's always playing for himself. I feel he's always trying to force stuff himself. He's always trying to steal the headlines. And I think even early on, like, he didn't pass much to Icardi. He kind of learned to, if I'm gonna survive here in Galatasaray, I'm gonna have to pass to this guy because he's the shoo-shoo of the fans. So if I don't pass to him, like, they're gonna, like, destroy me. So he kind of started doing that after a while. But I think Kerem is honestly, man, like, I think part of this is why he is where he is in his career right now, because he went all the way down to the third division. He was in Beşiktaş youth, I think, and then he got, like, loaned out and went to third division and kind of clawed his way up. And I think his mentality is what got him where he is today. But at the same point, I think his mentality is why he's not going to go to Europe. He's not going to go to a top 5 team, and he's not going to a top 5 league. I think that's why the top 5 leagues are staying away from him right now, and why the only offer on the table at the moment for him that's attractive is Russia. Yeah. And I think scouts see that. And then you have the off-the-field incidents that have definitely happened, like with Marcao. And then you have the lots and lots of rumors over the years of off-the-field incidents. Like, this isn't the first time that there's been rumors of him, there being issues during halftime when he got yoinked. And, like, I just think that's not a player you want to touch. Like, I understand that you think he's a good player because he is, but I think that's a player you stay away from. Because if you...
Yeah, I think you've definitely got a point there. I've just noticed Sinan, they're getting cooked in the comments again, man.
Yeah, I don't care. It's funny. I was talking to you. You guys can cook away. I don't give a shit. But you guys know Yasin. He tweeted earlier that
Poor Sinan.
Yeah, I don't care. Like I'm getting used to it, honestly. But I'm about to step down on it. Fuck you guys. No, Yasin tweeted earlier that he thought Galatasaray would win, or maybe actually no, he said Fener will win, Galatasaray will be second, and Beşiktaş third. And I was like, you don't need to tweet that. You're just gonna piss off the fans because everyone's so hopeful and optimistic. And that, like, you know, you're probably just gonna get more hate than whatever it is you might be looking for. You know, like people being like, oh, it's a sensible take. But so it's kind of ironic that I went and said the same thing. But I mean, you asked me, and I'm just, again, you know, I think if you look at the odds, right? Look at the odds makers. That's the order that they're in, right?
Yeah.
I'm
Would you
saying,
bet your house on it? I don't think so. Right.
Yeah, would you really put money on Beşiktaş winning? Look, we all want Beşiktaş to win. That's why we're wearing the shit, right? Yeah, that's why we're doing the fucking podcast. Exactly. Like, so it's not about what we want, and it's not, right? Like, the point is to actually rationally view, like, what's happening right now. And, like, we have to recognize that our rivals have just come off of, right? If Galatasaray hadn't broken the record, Fener would have. Like, that's how good both of them were. So it's not like we're operating in a vacuum.
But I don't know if it's a case of them being that good. I genuinely think it was a case of the rest of the league. Like, the league last season, the level of the league was so low. Like, there was no resistance. And yes, they both had really good squads. Like, nobody can argue that. Like, they both had really good squads. But Galatasaray especially got outplayed so many times by lesser teams, or lesser squads, but better teams. Like, even against us, we were so bad, and Galatasaray did not impress us in either game, right? Fenerbahce were the closest to an actually really good team, and I think, normally speaking, Fenerbahce 9 times out of 10 win the league last season. But they had a shit coach.
I mean, it's worth noting, last episode, Kartal mentioned that I'm the one who's been shitting on Okan as the talentless, you know, tacticless kind of passion merchant, which I believe. And I, you know, people were like, oh, you know, Gio is so good tactically. That's been my point for like 3 episodes. I fully think that Giovanni van Bronckhorst can outclass our opponent tactically, even Mourinho, if I'm going to be honest. But the problem is, and this is where Khan has said this a few times too, what do our rivals throw up against them, right? Like, we could beat Fener and Galatasaray twice and still lose the title if we struggle, you know, in 5 or 6 matches like you expect us to, and our rivals just clean the house again, right? Like, so, you know, you just got to be freaking realistic about it. Like, I really hope we win.
Like yesterday in Europe when Fenerbahce were playing Lille, so they were struggling to find a goal because they were being very wasteful. And then they have Irfan Cankavici coming off the bench and he curls in a free kick. And I think that's one of those things, squad depth. Like, who is going to come off the bench if we're struggling in a game, we can't find an opening? Who's going to come off the bench and do that for us in games, right? Like,
that's why I gave 2 scenarios, guys, because I think we need to be realistic with the squad as it currently stands. I don't really think we've got a chance. We need some more depth in
no, I don't agree with that.
But also, is it realistic to say that we're going to get 4 or 5 transfers?
Like, see, you take Rafa out of the squad, man, and then what have we got offensively?
Yeah, but that's why you have to be lucky in a sense. Like, you have to be lucky that your key players stay spared of injuries. I think
this team will be competitive, but I don't think the team as it currently stands.
But you just said you don't stand a chance. I think if Rafa stays healthy an entire season, if Ciro stays healthy an entire season, like, if the majority of your key players stay healthy, if we stay spared of injuries, like, I think,
and if we get like Yasin
even
Özcan,
if you don't add a single player, like, you still have a chance. Like, I don't think they're like not having a chance. No, I don't agree with that.
Maybe that was an exaggeration, but our chances are small. Let's say.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look, like, again, like I said, like, they have quality players they can bring in. But let's say Ferdi Kadiolu leaves now and he goes to Brighton. Like then Fenerbahce are in a pinch. They have to bring in a quality left back because like, are they gonna play their entire season with Levent Mercan on left back? Like that's a significant drop off in quality. Like Ferdi is one of their best players right now. Like,
Suppose you have Osterwolde.
sorry?
You have Osterwolde. He plays left
Yeah,
back.
but he's not a good dude. Come on. Like, can you compare Osterwolde to Ferdi? Like he doesn't bring the offensive contribution that Ferdi brings. Ferdi is essentially you're playing with an extra attacker with Ferdi.
Yeah. I mean, I think 35 million is more than enough money to bring an adequate replacement. Maybe not.
Of course it is, but you still have to bring that player. That player has to settle. That player has to click. Like it's not like we just got really lucky, I think, with Ciro and with Rafa both hitting the ground running. But not every player does that, you know? Like that's just not a given. Like every transfer is a risk. Yeah, 35 million euros is plenty of money to bring in a quality replacement, but like for example, yeah, like, you still have to be able to get them to come. Like you can offer these players money, but not everyone wants to come to Turkey, you know?
Yeah.
And Cartel, what I'll actually say is that the one thing we probably definitely saw in that Super Cup is that this starting lineup is good enough to win.
Yeah, but that's the problem. But we're probably going to play 60 games this season.
Well, yeah, and so that's where you're saying not so much if we get 4 or 5 players, but can these guys stay healthy? And if not, do you have you brought in enough depth to sort of spell them? But like I my point, I guess, is simply like once you're talking about like if guys get injured, then you can also do the same thing for your rivals, right? Because what if they get injured, or what if they sell Ferdi or Icardi or whoever else?
Of course, I mean, so look, like, if Icardi tears his ACL tomorrow, like Galatasaray have a big issue up top, and if
right, at least that's a. I mean, obviously it's not the same, but it's a serviceable backup, like a good backup to have. Whereas if Immobile gets injured, then suddenly if Semi plays going forward, we are looking at, as much as Hekimoglu seems like a great player. Can you really put all your eggs in?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, of course. That's 100%.
I think, as I've seen, like I think this top 11, because I think tactically we're ahead of both of our opponents. Mm-hmm. If our top stays fit all season, we've got a good chance. But how realistic is that when we're playing 60 games and they've got all?
Or even like Masuaku, right? Like he's almost the linchpin at this point. If we don't get,
so like, I'd put our ideal starting 11 up against theirs, and I think we have a really good chance.
That's what I've been saying. I think if start 11 is good enough, but over that marathon, that's why I think if we get the signings we need, we're the favourites because tactically we're better than our opposition. Yeah. But because they have so much more depth than us, I think over the marathon, if we don't sign these players that we need, I said we don't have it, I said I would rephrase it and say it's unlikely. I still think we'll probably compete, but I think if we don't get in that depth, it will be unlikely that we win the league. But I trust the board, and I think that we are going to get the depth, and we're going to kind of fill the couple of holes we have profile left wise as well in the team. I do believe that. So I think when that happens, I think we will be the favourites.
Yeah. Okay.
What concerns me a bit. I mean, first of all, so in answering the question, which is like, what's the realistic prediction of the season? I wasn't including a what-if scenario of like if we get, a fantastic right wing, because obviously, like you bring in like Asensio, and I'm gonna put us probably in first, right? Like there are players you bring in, and suddenly it's a completely different conversation. But what concerns me, and maybe this is a good segue, Khan, is like we're talking about how if we sell a foreigner, we're gonna bring in this Cher Endur guy. He's not even a winger, right?
No, like, he's a midfielder, and
that's a little concerning. No, because like
if a midfielder goes, he'll come in. That's what they're saying.
So yeah, I mean, I hope. I just maybe they've decided, because there have even been rumors that they don't want to mess around with the attack because they think it looks really good. So maybe they'd be looking more for depth than a starter.
I think Fea said something like, as long as no more players leave in the attacking thirds, like we're not gonna bring anyone in because Giovanni is happy with the attackers he has at his disposal, which I think is ridiculous because Jan Kellish, I don't know. I can't take that serious.
Definitely, you need that creative winger for sure, man. That's a must.
Yeah.
A must.
Like that was like when he said that was a giant red flag for me. Like, oof, no, like that's like, do you have your finger on the pulse right now of what we need? I don't know.
That was my concern. That's all, and that's why for me it's still enough of a what if that you know. Again, if you're asking me right now what I think is going to happen this season, I'm not going to write in, you know, the right wing that solves all of our problems just yet. Like, we got to sign that dude first.
Yeah. But I also think that the way Giovanni has us playing right now, I think we don't really need that creative winger as much.
Yeah, but if you wait until we play a team that's going to like put 11 men behind the ball, man. So far, even
we have to see it. We have to see it.
Even against Derby, they didn't defend with 11 men.
Yeah.
So yet to see someone that plays a team that plays a low block, and Giovanni historically struggled against these teams. So I think we need to be prepared for all scenarios, man. And in that scenario, you need that guy.
Yeah. We need to.
I mean, we
need to see it as well. Like, how does this energetic pressing? But the thing is, like, no team, like very few teams park the bus and sit back 90 minutes. Like in Turkey, almost no team does that. They almost all try to hit you on the counter or something. They still try to attack. They still try to hit you back at some sort. Like it's not like park the bus 100%. So there's gonna be chances even in those games, but it's gonna come down to whether you take them or not.
But can you not remember a lot of games? Obviously, we'll get to see a game like this under Gio, but in the past where there's been games where we've been passing the ball about in the opposition's half the whole game, but we are struggling to create chances.
Yeah, but it's because the tempo is way too low. Like you're passing the ball around, but the circulation is like, you know, super slow. Like, and
I'm just because obviously like we have Rafa who's creates a good amount of chances, like 2.25 a game, but we need someone else. I just feel like just that extra dimension. So I mean, I think we all agree on it, but
yeah.
I think it's for me that's a must.
All right. We've been on this topic way too long now. I'm just gonna give my top 5 for next season quickly because I feel like we've been talking about this for 15 minutes. Guys, in the comments, please drop us your top 3 or your top 5s as well. Let us know. We'll read them down in a bit maybe. My top 5, I do actually think we have a good chance at winning the league as well. I'm hopeful for sure. You know, this isn't about being too serious. Like, I think obviously the favorites, Galatasaray and Fenerbahce, are favorites. But you know, I think I agree with what Gatal said. Like, tactically, I think we're ahead of both of them at the moment. I think 11 versus 11, we have a great chance. It's all about, you know, who do we still bring in this window? How lucky are we going to be with injuries, all that kind of stuff. Are we going to get screwed by the refs? All those things come into play, obviously. But I'll put us at 1. I'll put Fener at 2. I'll put Başakşehir at 3. Trabzon at 4. And then, I don't know, maybe Rize. I think if Galatasaray aren't going to be in the top 3, they're going to be down there somewhere. So I think they're gonna be like, either they're gonna be like super competitive and probably win it, or they're gonna be like 6th or 7th like we were last season, I think. So yeah, I think something along those lines. Let us know in the comments in the live chat what you think, or if you're watching on delay, let us know in the comments what you think the top 5 is gonna look like next season. Okay, next part I want to go to, this has nothing to do with Beşiktaş necessarily, well, hopefully it doesn't. But who is going to relegate next season? So there's 4 teams going down next season. So for this season, so next season we'll be back to the original format of 18 teams. This season there's 19 teams, so there's 36 games. So 4 teams are going down this season. So which 4 teams are gonna go down? Sina, I'm gonna start with you. Who do you think is going to relegate? This doesn't have to be a super thought through exercise, by the way. Just off the cuff, who do you think are gonna go down?
Let's see. I think you've got to probably put Hatay down there. They've been circling the drain. Maybe Gaziantep too. And I hate to do that because we all know why that's likely. It's not really their fault, and it's a damn shame. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
They've made some good transfers actually this window. So
yeah, maybe we'll see. I mean, I hope they don't go down. Honestly, just again, also considering what they're coming back from. But I think probably Eyüp Ayub to the list. That's
Yeah.
hopeful.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
hoping Ayub because
Ömer in the
then,
chat, by the way, if Wanda takes him back, Icardi will score again.
probably. And then maybe Bodrum. I'll put Bodrum into that fourth slot.
So, okay. Katla, what about you? 4 teams to go down next season.
Oof. Let's see. I'd say Bodrum, Hatay, Konyaspor, and Antep.
Okay. All right, my 4 teams.
So everyone the same except you said Konya instead of Ayub. You think Ayub's staying up, Karta?
Ayub's got a lot of investment.
All right, hot take.
Yeah.
Adana Demirspor.
That was my hopeful.
Adana
That's wishful
Demirspor
thinking.
are going to go down next season. This season, they're going
Ooh.
down. Adana Demirspor are going down.
Wow.
I agree with you. Bodrum down. Hatay down, unfortunately. And then number 4. I don't remember who I said the other day because I think Ömer or somebody asked me in our community chat who I thought were gonna go down, and I don't remember who I said. I definitely don't think Ayub are gonna go down because I think they will. I think they'll low key be. I think they'll be mid table, or even if they have a good, like depending on how good Arda is, they might even be left column. But who did I say? Hatay, Bodrum, Adana Demirspor. I don't remember who else I said.
Maybe Bodrum?
No, I already said Bodrum. So who else came up this?
Wait, so Hatay and Gaziantep too then?
No,
right?
not
And then-
no. I don't think Gaziantep goes down. Who came up?
Oh,
Who
okay.
came up this season? Eyüpspor came. Göztepe.
Bodrum,
Nah,
Eyüp.
Göztepe and Eyüp are staying up. I'm pretty
Göztepe.
sure. Göztepe for sure.
Yeah, I didn't put, yeah.
And who was it then? Bodrum came up, and who else came up then? Göztepe, Eyüp, Bodrum.
That's it.
Only 3? Okay, right. So who is the 4th one? I don't know about Konya. I've been following some of their transfers, and I know none of these players, but they're bringing in some Balkan players again, and those guys usually do well for Konya. I think the biggest issue for Konya might be their coach Ali Çamdalı. I don't think Konya are gonna go down though, but I'm kind of spacing on who else is in the league at the moment. Antalya. That's the one I said yesterday. So Adana Demirspor, Antalyaspor, Bodrum, and now I forgot who else I said again. So Antalyaspor, Adana Demirspor, Bodrum, and who else did I say, guys? Hatay, exactly. So 3 teams that were already in the league, I think are gonna go down. Only 1 team that came up, I think are gonna go down. All right, so let us know who you think are gonna go down, guys. The 4 teams that you think are gonna go down. Leave it in the comments, or if you're in the live chat, feel free to drop it in the live chat. Do we want to go over some comments in the meantime, Sinan?
I don't know. I don't know if I do, honestly. I mean, the problem a lot is that all of them like relate to our previous conversation.
Yeah.
Except we have a couple entries for who they think is going to win and whatnot. Let's see. So I mean, a lot of it's also like stream froze, lots of technical conflicts.
Yeah. Let's see.
And I referenced some of them, like, you know, when Umer said we were going to win the title.
Let's see. Kerim Tulgar thinks Beşiktaş are winning it. Fener second.
Finish Kebab said Rafa, the guy will score basketball kind of double stats this year.
Yeah.
In goals and assists. That's a cartel deep dive.
Yeah.
The double reference.
Yeah.
I agree. I think he is. I agree.
I do too. Yeah.
36 games. If he stays healthy, I definitely think he's gonna go double numbers.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the player of the year for sure, man.
Yeah, if we win the league, it's gonna be Rafa, who's gonna play a massive role in that for sure.
That's for sure.
By the way, guys, in the meantime, like, how is the stream holding up today? Other than me having internet issues twice, like, has it been choppy or anything like that, or do you think that the 30 FPS has improved it?
I definitely am noticing that the chat is more related to what we're actually talking
Yeah, exactly.
about.
They
So
seem to
it's
be
more timely.
Yeah, they don't seem to be 10 minutes behind or something.
Great timing for that, Khan, by the way. Okay, let's go over some of these predictions, I guess. If we want to beat Galatasaray, we're not going to do it by taking their troublemaking players, so keep Kedem away, please. That was about your guys' debate on that. Umer said there are 2 more players coming in when the European window closes. Happens every year.
But that's
Hopefully.
risky as well, though, because the registration period for the UEFA competitions also ends like the day or so after
that's right before,
those, 2 days after those windows close. So you still need to be pretty quick, because otherwise you can't use them in Europe, which would be kind of shit.
Go on. Kedim says even Şenol Güneş could not manage to use Onana. Gio puts some added value on staff. I don't know about even Şenol Güneş. Şenol Güneş didn't manage to play a lot of players.
Okay. I mean, Kerem is clearly a fan. By the way, Kerem, thank you for joining us. I think that's the first time I've noticed him in the chat. And other than likening you to an A-Sport commentator, I think.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I'll leave that aside.
Thank you for contributing.
Rafa,
Thank you.
Man,
Thank you so much for contributing.
Yeah.
Umer Gunal, if want to take, you already did that. And then he said Beşiktaş 1, Fener 2, Galatasaray 3. Kedim says Beşiktaş 1, Fener 2, Trabzon 3, Başakşehir 4, Adana 5, and then 5 Saray in 6th. Boy, that would have been easy. It could have been 5th, right?
I definitely
5
don't
Saray.
think Adana are going to make the top 5, man. Like I said, they're going down.
And then he predicted Eyüp, Bodrum, and Göztepe going down. I don't see Göztepe going down, but who knows? Carlito says this is way better than last time, Con. I think that's about our technical issues. There were some issues with connection and later sound, but after that, no issues. Umer says it's just Turkish League business that we wait until Europe stops buying to pick up the leftovers. Yeah, we've talked about this a few times on air too.
I mean, sometimes you get great opportunities in that as well, right? Like
Gazal, right?
Yeah,
Gazal
exactly. I mean, as long as we can still use them in Europe, I'm fine with waiting a little longer. I think we have the skeleton of the team, and now we just have to get some. I mean, we can still obviously improve positions, but I think if the window would close today, we'd have a decent team. Obviously, the team we have today might not be enough to last the marathon, so to speak. Right? Any other interesting comments, or can we move on to the next subject? All right, let's see. Then what do I have? I'm gonna take Ciro away here, and then bam, we're gonna talk a little bit of Europe. And that's basically the last thing we are gonna talk about. So we're gonna talk a little bit of European football. We aren't in Europe yet, but obviously the draw has been made already, and we know our potential opponents for the playoff rounds of the Europa League. I did a very short 7-minute video on this already the other day, so if you watch that, you'll already know. But we have been drawn against either FK Partizan from Serbia or rivals from last season in the Conference League, Lugano from Switzerland, the team, of course, that went out against Fenerbahce. Oh wait, Cathal, did you say already who was going to relegate? Did I skip you?
No, I said.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, sorry. I was going to say mom brain there for a second. I'm not a mom, but yeah. The potential opponents, Partizan or Lugano. Guys, what do you think about it? Cathal, let me start with you. Who do you want it to be, perhaps?
To be honest, man, I don't care. Either could come. I think we'll handedly beat both teams, to be honest. The way I see it, man, like Partizan, we played them in 2014, pumped them in 2014, played them in 2018, we pumped them in 2018. As for Lugano, I think they're a team that they don't have maybe a lot of quality, but they're a well-coached side, they're well-disciplined. But in our worst league campaign in 26 years, over the 2 games, we still beat them 4-3. If you had scores from both games, obviously, we were beating them 2-0 at home, and then after the red card, we can see the team 10 minutes and completely capitulated and lost 3-2. But then we beat them 2-0 away in Switzerland with a B team. So I think now, considering so far we look so good. Knock on wood, it stays that way. And considering we beat them over 2 games in one of our worst seasons in recent memory, I think we should beat them as well. I think Partizan would probably be easier. I think Lugano would be a wee bit harder, but I still think we should beat both teams fairly easily. I'm not worried about it. I think I'm 95% sure that we will be in the Europa League group stage or league stage, if you want to call it, with the new format. Sinan, over to you, man.
Yeah, I'm not worried about either of these sides, really. Lugano looked pretty solid against Fener, but I think we're a little bit more put together at this stage of the season, or, hopefully. I think Lugano has a good coach, so he'd probably put up more of a fight than Okan Buruk managed in this last match. But I don't know. I don't foresee any trouble from either of these guys. I think, we had Lugano. I mean, on the one hand, I feel like people scapegoat that red card of Rosier because, we had no business giving them 3 goals, even a man down. Honestly, that was a terrible.
Plus, it wasn't even a red.
Yeah. Plus, there was that.
The coach's fault. He took out all the offensive players or anyone really that could hold the ball up the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. We just kind of handed that one away. So that's why I don't see Lugano.
If we never saw the red card, but still he managed it completely wrong.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
That was the Grey Channel, by the way.
The great. But so yeah, no, I definitely don't worry too much about either of these opponents, and I feel like we don't when we met anyone in Europe. Honestly, we were struggling to have an identity whatsoever. Right? We had no shape on the pitch. And I think when you look at what we're trying to do now, that's definitely not going to be the case. And I think, for sides like Lugano or whoever, where they could take advantage of a unprepared kind of chaotic Beşiktaş, they're not going to have that advantage this time. So we're going to handle them. And I'm assuming it's going to be Lugano, right? They are at a kind of high.
I don't know Partizan well enough, man. I don't know how good they are this season, last season. I don't know their squad. This is also why I'm...
Our Swiss friend, we should mention Avrat, who said that Lugano has become basically consistent title contenders, right, in the last 5 years.
Don't call him Avrat.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I don't know why. Aurelian.
That's like a thing. I love how that stuck, by the way, because I'm the one who gave him that nickname.
That's your fault.
I'm just happy he doesn't really know what it means. My dad always used to say that, I'm not.
My dad uses it as well. Man.
Oh, okay.
It's an old word for wife, if anyone doesn't know.
Yeah, it's like old wife, basically.
It's not really used much anymore, but it's more of a older thing.
We have a friend, and his name is Aurelien, and we call him that for some reason. I don't even know how it started that we call him that, but yeah.
That was you,
It was
right?
me. I know. I coined the phrase, but I don't even remember why.
I feel like didn't he have an account where he wrote his name Aurelien, but with a V instead of the U? So I feel like maybe
I don't
how's Instagram or something. There's
something.
something.
I don't remember what it was. I think it was because he was whining a lot, and I was basically likening him to a whiny old woman or something. But I don't know. Regardless, so the draw. I'm not actually as comfortable as you guys are, I think, because I think what we saw from Lugano last season and we saw against Fenerbahce in the qualifiers is they are an incredibly well coached team. So I don't think we can underestimate them. Partizan I don't know well enough to comment on, but again, don't underestimate. The only thing I do think is we looked so ready, even in some of the pre-season games already, and then in this Super Cup. Obviously Sunday has to come, the Samsung game has to come, and maybe that's gonna be a shit show. But right now, the way I feel at the moment is that we definitely should be beating both of those teams. It's a favorable draw. Even if we end up going out, it's still a favorable draw. We could have had Ajax or Panathinaikos, for example. There were much harder potential draws that we could have gotten. So
That's the best job we could have got, man. I think we've really lucked out with this one.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we have been terrible in Europe over the last 6 years. We're unseeded.
Yeah.
So it was the best job I thought we could have got, man. I think we're really lucky.
I agree.
Just gonna respond.
I was terrified of Ajax. Honestly.
Just gonna.
I was just like, Khan, do you want to answer it this time? I feel like I've answered this question like a few times.
Sally picks if you want a Turkish podcast, man, or Turkish stream or whatever. There's always Bülent Uslu or one of the thousands of other
millions of
streams
others
out there that speak in Turkish. We do it in English because Beşiktaş is a massive club and have fans all around the world, not only Turkish fans, also people from other countries. You might have already seen a couple of names in this chat that don't sound particularly Turkish, so that's why we do it. We do it for the community, we do it for Beşiktaş, and it's just that simple, man. You seem to be able to speak English, so feel free to stick around and
welcome.
listen and let us know what you think. We'd love to hear, and thank you for checking out our podcast and finding us. So hopefully you'll stick around and maybe you'll adjust to the English, I hope. But your written English seems perfect, so wouldn't know why.
He's using colloquialisms. Why y'all?
Exactly.
He's definitely a speaker of the language, the lingua.
Or he's just watched a lot of American TV shows.
But you know, that's how I learned English, by watching American TV shows and stuff like that. Okay, so that's that. The Europa League, obviously, we'll find out on the 22nd of August. We will play whoever wins this draw against each other, Partizan or Lugano. They are playing tomorrow, and then they're playing again next Thursday. And then, of course, we will face them away, whoever we get, on the 22nd. And then on the 29th, the return leg will be at the Tüpraş Stadium, the Beşiktaş Stadium. So we also have the advantage there that we get to play the second game at home. So hopefully, if we win that tie, then we will qualify for the group stages / league stages of the Europa League. And I say that because I am not quite sure what is happening to the Europa League. I know the Champions League is changing its format, and I think
so all three of them. I
think the Europa League
we're doing this weird league thing.
I don't think the Conference League is. I think the Conference League.
I thought it was.
It might.
So.
I'm not sure. So I'm still kind of saying group stages because I'm not quite 100% sure. I watched a video on how it'll work in the Champions League, but I'm not sure if it'll be the same in Europe. I think the Europa League is changing for sure. I'm not 100% sure about the Conference League, so we'll have to wait and see, but we'll find out. But anyway, the group or league stage of the tournament is within our grasp, and even if we don't win, if we get knocked out by either Partizan or Lugano, we will still qualify for the Conference League group / league stages. So we are guaranteed group / league stage football. Alright, that'll do it for that portion of the podcast. There's just one more thing left to talk about, and that is Samsunspor on Sunday. Sinan, let me start with you. Expectations for the game. What do you expect to see from Beşiktaş? Did the Super Cup give you good hope? It's an away game. Samsunspor are a good side. What do you expect?
I'm a little bit fearful. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I can't say that. It's really like we're entering the unknown now, right? And in a way, I think the dominant victory over Galatasaray kind of confuses things a little bit, right? Because I would have assumed, like, going into the season, regardless of the result against Galatasaray, this should be a tough match in Samsun with a real vociferous fan base, you know, very loud. One of the good ones in the Turkish League, I think. And, you know, there's so many question marks about new guys coming in and new tactics being applied and, you know, first competitive matches in the league for various players and all that. So you'd think that it would be something of a mystery, but then you look at how we played against Galatasaray and we were so dominant that, I mean, I hope that we can maintain that, and that, you know, obviously Samsun's going to come out differently, play much more conservatively, much more defensively. So you wouldn't imagine it's going to be as easy as this match, ironically, weirdly. Plus, it's a slightly more competitive match in a sense, right? There's more on the line with it, theoretically. So I don't know. I'm obviously quite hopeful. I think we'll win, but I foresee, you know, it's not going to be a cakewalk, is what I would Imagine.
Right. So, in terms of Samsung, I mean, just one thing I want to mention is team news. So, Jedson Fernandez is said to be a game day decision. He's picked up a slight injury. Omar Colley said to be injured as well. So it seems like Emirhan Topçu will definitely get a start. As for the game itself, I think this is going to be a good test to see how we perform. Obviously, we've seen it in the friendlies. We've played really good games against lesser teams, but it's a good chance to see how we perform against a lesser team in a competitive game. Because obviously, we destroyed Galatasaray, but that's a team where you'd expect them to come for us. Whereas Samsung, they might play a bit more reserved. So it'll be interesting to see how we play in that type of game. I expect is to see the same lineup that we saw against Galatasaray with instead of Colley's, he's injured. I think Emirhan Topçu will start, and if Jedson can't make it, I expect Sari to play instead of him. Other than that, I expect the same team. So Mertz, Svensson, Paulista, Emirhan Topçu, Masuaku, Al-Misrati, Sari will chin if Jedson's not fit. Rashika on the right wing, Rafa Silva at the 10, on the left, Semi Kalusoy, and up front Ciro Immobile. So that's the team I expect to see. I mean, you can't really say for sure, but I think with our team almost fully fit, bar a couple of players, I think we should get the win. What about you, Ken?
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. For sure. I mean, from what I saw now in the Super Cup, I think we are very ready for the start of the season. And I think it'll all kind of boil down to how easily can we find a way through. Samsung is not a team last season that played particularly defensively. They kind of went for it. They weren't afraid of that. I think if we are organized, if we are focused, I think we will win. I think we will be organized and focused. Giovanni, immediately after the game, said our focus has to be on Sunday's match against Samsung now. That's our priority. This basically, this cup will mean very little if we already, drop the bar of soap next week against Samsung. So I expect the same as you, same lineup, other than maybe Koli, because I think rumors were that he's injured and Emirhan might start. So yeah, I think other than that, I expect the same lineup as well with the very same mentality. Probably a little bit more aggressive going forward, but I think the most important thing is kind of what we were hoping for to see under Ismail was the pressing game, effectively pressing, winning the ball back quickly. And that is something we saw against Galatasaray time and time again. And I think if we can do that in 90% of our matches in the league, then we have a great chance at winning those games as well. Because I think if you win the ball and you win the second balls and you win the duels, then that you can still lose a game with a fluke goal and stuff like that. And I think that happened to Fener a couple of times last season where they were what I think it was Sivasspor where I think they lost that one 2-1 or something. I don't even remember. But no, they didn't lose, they drew. But you can concede from half chances, or you can make a mistake and you can concede a goal, and that's gonna happen eventually in a season. But you just need to limit the amount of times it happens. Ultimately, you're going to run into a game where everything goes against you, even though you're playing decent enough. You're probably the better team. Even if you play at a high level for the majority of the season, you're gonna run into games like that. But we just can't afford that to be the opening game of the season. We have a relatively easy schedule heading into the international break, I think. So we have obviously Samsung on Sunday. Then we have a European match on the 22nd, I think. Is that right? And then we have Antalya at home. And then we have another European match. And then there's a 2-week break. So I think it's really important for us to get 6 points in the league from those 2 matches. And obviously that starts on Sunday. And Samsunspor are going to be a difficult opponent. But if you want to win the league, if you want to compete for the trophies, if you want to compete for the title, that's a match you have to win. That's simple. Let us know what you think, guys. Are we going to win on Sunday against Samsunspor? Do you expect a very similar lineup to the past, to the Super Cup, I should say? And what are overall your expectations heading into Sunday's game? Guys, do you have anything to add, or shall we get to some of the comments and then maybe we can close off? I think
just go through the comments and then we can wrap it up, man. Right. I think I've said everything I need to say.
Alrighty, Sinan, I'm gonna let you handle them comments.
Sinan, we can't hear you, man. You muted.
Whoops. Sorry about that. My wife came home, so I muted when I went to open the door for her. So yeah, why English? We figured that out. Okay, yeah, that's resolved. That's good. Oh, so Carlito said, where will Ghazal go? Which is unresolved.
He had
and I
an
have
offer
no clue.
from the Saudi Pro League, I believe, but he's still taking it under consideration. I don't think he's super keen on it. I believe he has 2 little girls and obviously a wife. I don't think he's super keen on the Saudi league, honestly, because even though he's obviously Muslim and Arab, like going to Dubai or Qatar is one thing, going to Saudi is a whole other thing. Like that's yeah,
the lifestyle choice.
It is.
I would assume he'll go to France, right? That's been his stated goal, I think,
so.
for a while, but we'll see if he finds something. Yeah, hopefully it's not like Ligue 2 or something. He has to settle.
I think we saw last season that a healthy Ghazal can still offer a lot. He's a fantastic player, but
I would take it. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't.
A healthy Ghazal, I would take, and if you.
Yeah, I mean the problem is health, right?
Exactly.
One more comment. Kedem said Partizan had 9 goals from Dynamo Kiev.
Oof.
I don't know if it means they were scored on 9 times, or they scored 9 goals against Dynamo. I don't know.
They probably, because I think he mentioned Champions League as well, didn't he? So I guess they dropped out of the Champions League qualifiers.
Yeah.
Let me check. I'll actually check it quickly.
Right.
Yeah. No, let's see. They lost 6-2 and 3-0 to Dynamo Kiev. So
yeah,
there you go. Yeah.
It was either Partizan or crap, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean,
so I think he's saying Partizan
I don't know
is not
how
good.
Kiev,
unlike Lugano, will not.
I don't know
be
how
easy.
Kiev are post Lucescu, so again, not gonna comment too much on it. But I think right now, it's probably more likely that we get another game against Lugano, and then interestingly enough, Mattia, I think his name, Mattia Crocitotti or something like that, is their coach. He said
coach?
Before the Fenerbahce game that
they're much better than us.
Much better team than Beşiktaş. So I mean, honestly, he's right. Like that Fenerbahce team he just faced is much better than the Beşiktaş team he faced last season, no doubt.
Yeah.
But it was a stupid thing to say. Although I guess, right, like there's no way he could have.
There's no way he could have predicted. Right?
He'd end up seeing us like in a couple weeks. But he definitely probably. Yeah, I hope our team plays that in the locker room before the match.
Yeah,
you know, that's
exactly.
One thing
could be an extra motivator for us.
I really don't think we have anything to worry about, man. Because
don't be too cocky, bro. Don't be too cocky.
But as bad as we were last season, we beat them over the 2 games, so we're a lot better this year.
Yeah, but they're also better supposedly. Like Aurelien,
theoretically, I mean, they should
mentioned that they actually strengthened their team and they're much better as well.
I think we'll beat them in both games. I think we'll win by 2 or more goals in both games.
Let's hope so.
I definitely
don't get too cocky.
Definitely.
Dude, I used to be, when I was a kid, I was on a forum called the blackeagles.org. It was an English Beşiktaş forum back in like 2003. I was on there for as long as it was up until it closed in 2005. Really fun community. Met some great people there. A lot of actually fans from other countries like Chile, Costa Rica, lots of different places. So blackeagles.org, shout out if you were ever on there.
And I think if you guys were listening when Ahmet Bab Turgut was on the show, I think that's the one he was talking about. The site his friend started. I think that's the one.
Maybe
that you're talking about. He's from Canada or something. Yeah, I remember that one too. Although we were way more active on SFN.
Well, I became actually like active on SFM because the Black Eagles at Or closed. Like that was my my online home, especially for anything Beşiktaş. But what I remember very vividly about that time is we were always super cocky on there. Like anyone who we'd play in Europe, like
we're gonna handle
or
these turds.
I don't know, like we're gonna beat them. And we had this one guy who was a Partizan fan, and his name was Milos. And I remember like he was a Beşiktaş fan too, but like his name was Milos. And at a certain point, like they started fighting because a Beşiktaş fan said, "Oh, you know, we would beat Partizan so easily," even though he was also a Beşiktaş fan. And like it's just escalated, and I just remember that. And I feel like we're always a little bit too cocky. We think we think we're Real Madrid or something. And then we get our asses handed to us by Malmö. You know what I mean? So let's be respectful.
I mean, that is true. We did lose to Malmö, but what's also true is we have been Partizan twice, so they will know.
Yeah.
And like guys, we're in the best state that we've been in a few years. So hopefully that means something.
Let's hope so.
Just a few more comments. Atiljan, who's back, said Antalyaspor against Alex, going to be a fun one. That should be interesting. We'll see. You know, hopefully he doesn't hit the ground running.
Yeah.
But and then finally, Sally picks the last 5 games against Samsunspor. This is helpful. Draw, win, loss, draw, and win. But we made some good transfers, so I'm sure that we will win this game on Sunday. It's also worth mentioning that that period where we had those 5 results was in the dark ages for us Beşiktaş fans, right? It was we were in the doldrums. So again, you know, hopefully everything is going to be better from now on.
Yeah, and actually,
knock on wood.
Thanks to Salipix, actually, I remembered I had an extra note here that I wanted to mention as well. So obviously, Samsunspor are our first opponents in the league. They are yet to have an official game. So just quickly, I want to run down their preseason for you. So they had, I believe, 4 games in preseason. So let's see how they did in preseason. So they started off their preseason with a 3-1 victory over Kayserispor. Then they lost against Almere City. That's a second division team in the Netherlands, 1-0. They drew 1-1 against Ankaragücü, and I believe they equalized really late in that one. So Ankaragücü, of course, in the Birinci League this season. And then finally, their last friendly game this past week was against Rizespor, and they lost that 1-0. So they have 1 win, 2 losses, and a draw in their preseason games. And other than that first game where they scored 3 goals, it seems like they really struggled to score goals, because like no goal against Almere, 1 goal against Ankaragücü, and that one was really late, and then no goal against Rizespor again. So yeah, Samsunspor is definitely not looking super dapper in preseason, but you know, we've said it so many times already over the past couple of leagues, preseason games are fitness games essentially, so don't read too much into them. But I definitely think that we can say we have had a very positive preseason, obviously capped off by a fantastic Super Cup win over Galatasaray. So hopefully we can continue our form, and Samsung continue their form for at least 1 more week. After that they can start winning as much as they want, but on Sunday let's hope we smash them.
I was gonna say, who's Almere, and are they in the Eredivisie? You know,
Almere City. They're in the
Almere, yeah, and they are. And then I looked it up.
The second division,
and it's like, holy shit, they're 3rd place in the Eredivisie, but it's just because they played 0 games and it's alphabetical order. So
I was gonna say,
Almere is at the top.
Oh, I thought they was.
They're up, yeah. They're in the top division, but I think they must be newly part of the Eredivisie.
I'm 100% sure. The next stream, Sallyplix, I probably Monday, I think, after the Samsung game. If that, we'll have to see if it works for both Sinan and for Kartal, but if it works for them, I think it's gonna be next week Monday, probably. Now that the season is starting again, it's a little easier for us to announce beforehand when we're gonna be streaming, because right now over the summer we've kind of been all over the place. With what day we go live and stuff, but I think unless either Sinan or Kartla can't make it next week Monday, it's gonna be Monday most likely.
That should be alright, I'll be.
Yeah, should be fine. Yeah, and I mean we might, like, in previous seasons we've made our regular thing like every Tuesday or Wednesday, because sometimes you have the Tuesday match, but we'll figure it out, because like sometimes we'll have like a Thursday match, and then we probably don't want to wait till the next Tuesday.
The Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, there's Europe, so we might, we'll have to remain a little bit more flexible probably than we have in the past. But, that's probably fine. We'll give everyone a heads up, obviously, before.
What we might maybe do towards future, we might do like one app like on a Monday and one on a Friday after a European game or something. We could do that, maybe 2 episodes a week, if that makes sense. But we'll see. That
when the season heats up,
has to work for the schedules, of course, and also like it kind of depends on how much you guys want to watch, right? Like if we notice that one episode gets 300 views, but if we do 2 a week, it only gets 150 or something because we're oversaturating what you want. Like it's kind of offer and demand, I guess, right? Like
supply and demand.
Supply and demand, exactly. Sorry. I'm just thinking if there's anything else left to talk about. I think it's pretty much. I mean, there's been some transfer rumors. I don't know if you guys want to talk about that quickly. Like today, there were Yasin Özcan rumors again. There's of course
get him, pay him the money.
There's the Cher and Dur rumors. Somebody was asking about that earlier.
Which we talked about briefly.
Yeah, we talked about it a little briefly. So he's a central midfielder, can also play as an attacking midfielder as far as I can tell. I have never watched him play. Was on loan at Braga last season, didn't play much. I think he had less than 400 minutes played last season. He's only 20 years old. He's Italian, actually. But obviously, kind of like Balotelli, he's an immigrant. Not that that matters, obviously. But he's only 20 years old, plays for Paris Saint-Germain, was out on loan at Braga last season. I mean, I think if somebody leaves, but right now, with our midfield, with Musrati, Jetson, Mucci, Rafa, I don't know if you can really count him as that, because essentially in the cup, in the Super Cup, we essentially played with 2 midfielders. And Rafa was super active in helping out defense, but like, he's more like a second striker that just tracks back a lot, right? So
I mean, and since we played with Jedson and Al Musrati, right? Like, it was almost like a 5-man back line sometimes, or the
and when Onana came on, he
did
really well as well. So like, I think right now I kind of have the sense that Onana's probably gonna stay. It looks like the last rumors on Ox is that he might be going to Fulham. So he's obviously negotiating with English clubs. He wants to return to England. I think he just had a baby as well with his girlfriend. And she's still in England because she has a singing career. So it's very difficult for them distance-wise. So I think he wants to go back to England. Beşiktaş obviously want to offload his wages. So Beşiktaş aren't going to play hardball to get a transfer, like a big transfer fee or anything like that. So if any team...
We don't want him.
I think... No, look, I think if you put Ox in this team, I think you could be surprised because he's a quality.
I know, that's what I was going to say. Ironically, he'd probably be all right.
As long as he's healthy, I think if you put him in this team, he could really. I definitely think he could contribute, but I don't.
I think there's no question about the guy's talent. He definitely showed it at times last season, but.
It's like Masuaku, but the difference is Masuaku is on 1.3 million a year and Ox is on 3 million.
Yeah.
Or 2.5, whatever.
No, I mean, it's a shame, I guess that he didn't sort of pan out as I think some might have hoped that he'd settle in and become like our talismanic, sort of captain for a few years or something like that. But, bad timing, obviously, right? And then the injury. And
I wonder if we didn't include him in the team, if it was less of a, hey, we need you to go, but more we're not gonna risk you getting injured again because then you're not gonna find a club. What do you guys?
Yeah, maybe.
What do you guys think about that? Is it like because I don't think he deserves to be ousted. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't deserve to be forced out.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, he didn't earn that treatment. I mean, it's worth noting. So we need to get rid of 2 players to reach the level. To reach 14, where we can sort of move forward without having anyone cut or DC or anything like that. And then a third one, if we want to get, like, for example, a foreign right wing. So that leaves Ox, Amarte, right? He's the obvious.
He needs to go.
Been
Amarte
delisted
for sure.
Needs to go. And so then that last one would be like Montero. It could be.
Montero.
It could be.
I mean, I think we all agree. I think all three of us are fan of Montero. I think a lot of the people in the chat are fans of Montero. But, you know, like, I think it kind of depends on how good Emirhan is going to be. If Emirhan is going to be really good for us, then I think keeping Montero as a rotational player is fine. But then we also still have Colli, right? So
Yeah.
I don't understand why he wasn't taken to the camp, to be honest, man. Like,
yeah, me neither.
because there was a
Me neither.
offer, but the fact that he's still here means that there wasn't an offer that was that mature.
That's what we were hoping for. Yeah.
Sally Pix asks, do you guys think if Masuaku should play this season because he can get injured easily? Do you guys mind if I pick it up?
Go for it.
So Sally, I think we've had this discussion already a few times over the last couple of weeks, actually multiple times, and like I think we can all agree Masuaku is a quality football player. He's a really good football player. The problem is, like you say, he's injury prone. So I think with Masuaku, he's on a relatively low wage. He's one of the lower earning players on the team. He only is on 1.3 million a year. So with that in mind, and the fact that he's a quality player, I definitely think with the change to the form limit now, where it went from 12 to 14, I think you keep him. But I think we're all in agreement, and I think you'll agree too, and most of the people in the comments will agree, that we need a good alternative. We can't rely on Masuaku staying fit for 55, 60 games, because that's just not gonna happen. Like, there's already talk about him having some swelling on his knee now. So we need someone. And like Emre Can Terzi, he's a product of the club. He's an academy player. I think he put in decent shifts last season. I think he's fine as a third option, but he's not a good... I think whoever we get as a left back needs to be... doesn't necessarily...
like a 1B.
Yeah, he doesn't necessarily need to be as good as Masuaku, but if you get, for example, like Yasin Özcan, who we've seen at Kasımpaşa the last 2 seasons flourish, like that's not a player who's on a footballing level the same as Masuaku, but he's athletically, he's really good, he's very mature for his age, and he's the type of player that you could rotate him with, and I think would have, and you can develop him. And he's only 18 years old, right? It's like,
and it's worth noting. So supposedly they've Kasımpaşa's asked for €7 million for him. Obviously, we're gonna have to talk that down a bit, but I think you also have to recognize that they kind of know the position we're in. Like, they know that we're relying on a guy like Masuaku as our 1A. They know that we're gonna need a guy who can spell him well enough that we're kind of, want to see him playing. We need like a 1B, not like a 2. So I think they kind of got us by the balls a little bit, man. And they always do historically.
But would you sell if you had he only just turned 18. He made his debut when he was 16. That's like Mustafa Hekimoglu for us, basically. He's played almost 60 senior level games already. He's only just turned 18.
And he's already on the cusp of the national team.
Would you sell him for 3 million euros of Euro Kasımpaşa? Because I wouldn't.
No way.
Like, I'm one of those people who says, hey, don't pay those ridiculous fees that other teams are asking for. And I wouldn't pay 7 million. I think he's worth 7 million, don't get me wrong. I just don't think it's worth 7 million to us. I think if a European club came in for Yasin Özcan and bought him right now and developed him, he could be a 20, 30 million player in like a year or two.
Yeah.
Like if he goes, like, let's say he makes that move like Çağlar did to Freiburg. I think it was Freiburg. And then he moved from Freiburg to Leicester. Like, I think that's something perfectly plausible for a guy like Yasin. But for us, obviously, 7 million is a lot of money. But he's definitely somebody I would really love to see us sign. There's talk of Berkay Yilmaz, I think. And I think he plays for Freiburg, actually, talking about Freiburg. That's a Turkish player, obviously, with a Turkish passport. Look, I haven't seen Berkay play, at least not that I can think of. Maybe for the under-19s at some point, for the Umut Milli Takım, maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe Kasımpaşa wants Amartey.
Supposedly they do, but Amartey doesn't want to go anywhere, right? Like, so...
Oh, this piece of shit. Come on.
Don't make me bleep you, Sinan. Don't make me bleep you. I can't. I need to find a bleep button for you. For myself, probably more so.
I was gonna say you're the one who gave me the carte blanche,
I'm the
man.
sailor. Sally Pix said as well, I think he can stay, about Masuaku obviously, for rotation, but Abubakar gets paid too much and really has to go. He doesn't play. And yeah, I think we all agree with that, right? Abubakar, he's surplus right now. But interestingly, with an offer being there from Muleka from Al Khalud from Saudi Arabia, if Muleka leaves, like then you come into a situation where, like Kata was saying earlier, what if Immobile gets injured? Then I think we're all super high on Mustafa. But let's say the worst thing happens and
too much
let's
to
say
put on him,
Immobile gets a bad injury and is out, like pulls a hamstring and is out for 2 to 3 months or something, like a bad hamstring pull. Like then we're gonna have to rely on Simi and Mustafa as a striker. And I felt last season, whenever Simi played, he was best on the left. He was always best on the wing. I felt like when he was playing as a striker, it wasn't necessarily working so well. Mustafa is 17. Like, maybe if you give him the ball, he'll run with it, and he does amazing, but he's still 17. It could also be that he plays a couple of games and fades away, and that's not that's not abnormal for a young player like that. So then you do kind of want another striker in your back pocket. And Abubakar, I agree with you. He earns too much money. We should offload him. But yeah, if he sticks around, you kind of hope that should the worst thing happen and Ciro gets a bad injury or something, that Abu can step up and maybe fill that role. Although it's so questionable, right? Because I think we would all be for it. I think we would all be positive if Abubakar wasn't such a shim of himself last season. Like the second half of the season, or whenever after his illness, he's just been so bad, man. Like, yeah, I don't know. Anything to add, boys, to the Abubakar comment?
No, I don't think so. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, that's.
It's like a 3-hour special somehow. I don't even know how we managed to talk.
It's because we keep talking, bro. We it's always like, let's see, how long have we been going? Yeah, 3 hours and 3 minutes. All right. At least I think
it's like late for you guys, right?
I think the stability is much better for the stream, at least. One more comment from Sally Pix. There was some rumors like if Muleka goes to Al Khalud, we would get Kevin Carlos. I mean, that can happen, of course, right? Like Brad Friedel apparently was very high on Kevin Carlos on his profile, scored 14 goals in the Swiss League last season. Apparently, that move broke down because we had offered, I believe, 2.5 million for him, but we were offering payment installments and offering to pay them like 500k a time and like 6 installments or something like that. And they wanted all the money or most of the money up front because apparently they're having some financial issues. They haven't been able to pay their players and stuff like that. So they really needed the money straight away. So that's why they rejected our offer for Kevin Carlos. But I do think if Fea said it essentially, right? If players leave in the attacking third, then new players could come in. So Kevin Carlos is probably among those possibilities. But yeah, I mean, obviously we also have options, with if Abubakar stays, he can play there. Mustafa can play there. Simi can play there. Hell, Rafa can play there. And if Rafa plays there, then Mucci can play in the 10. So there's options. Don't forget, Mucci actually was a striker originally as well. So even him, we could potentially play there. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see what happens there. I'm just trying to think, because there's a couple of more transfer things that happened that I'm trying to think of.
There's nothing really serious though, man. I don't think we've had
Emre Can Uzunhan has joined Antalyaspor on loan, so that's another player that's off the books for this season.
I mean, I don't think he was going to play.
No, I don't think so either. But like, still, that's like that those types of players kind of bloat your squad, And I think it's good that we managed to send him on loan, and hopefully he can play a lot. I mean, he was there 2 seasons ago. We loaned him there, and he was doing really well until he tore his ACL. So hopefully he can pick back up where he left off there then. I think that's pretty much it. So then I have a couple more things to say. Guys, please go into the show notes. Check out our WhatsApp community. There's some new faces I saw in the chat today, guys. Please hit the subscribe button. Join us in the future. Appreciate very much if you join us in the live chat. Of course, we understand that if you can't actually watch live, that you watch on delay, and that's also perfect as long as you watch. But if you're new, you just discovered the podcast, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. All of that works for the algorithm to get us into more Beşiktaş fans' feeds on their front page, and so they can discover the Black Eagles podcast as well. For me, thank you very much for listening. Kartal, Sinan, Kartal, I'm gonna go to you first because Sinan always takes us out. Kartal, do you have anything left to add in terms of messages for the listeners?
Yeah, no, just thanks for listening, guys. The marathon starts on Sunday, as I keep referring to it as. Keep using that analogy. I think it's a good analogy, that's why. So the start of the long league journey is Sunday. Hopefully it's going to be a good, fruitful season, and just also to the bold man, get these transfers in so we can start thinking about winning the title, because I think we've got some good pieces and we've got a very good coach from what we've seen so far. So I think you just add in those last few pieces, and I think there's no reason why we shouldn't be champions. So please, bold, get those transfers in.
Yeah. And one last time, congratulations to the winners of our shirt giveaway contest: Finnish Kebab, Talha Budai, and RQ7 something. So congratulations to those guys for winning their shirts. Reach out to me either via Twitter, or if you're in the WhatsApp community or whatever, just find me. I'm not difficult to find. Just reach out to me and we'll get you sorted out. Hopefully we'll be able to do some giveaways in the future, especially if Kartal Juvasi wants to do this again next season. I don't think they'll be doing this constantly because obviously they need to run a business and sell shirts, and I think it's very nice of them to already give us 3 shirts to give away, because essentially that's 300 plus euros in gifts to give away. So congratulations to those of you who won, and stay tuned to the next episode, and see you then. Take us out.
Whoops. Yeah, Khan. One more try.
I got the wrong man. Jesus.
The wrong Black Eagle up there. Well, so look, this is an important one because we're welcoming in the new season officially. This is our last episode before the season is officially underway. So with that said, and it's very important that I say this, let's go Beşiktaş! Come on, everybody! This is it! This is the year! We're gonna become champions! I hope. Even though I pissed off certain people with the prediction.
And Dennis Yilmaz, thank you for joining us in the live chat at the last minute as well. We had another guy coming in there, but peace out, everyone. Hope for a good result on Sunday, and see you on Monday. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Ortada Bobo. Şimdi Bobo'nun önüne. Bobo aldı. Bobo girdi. Bobo çok babasın.